was even that?
That is one big pilot.
For a modern gaming audience.
Why are you running?
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
We're communists.
Woke.
Would you please get your politics out of my comic books? I'm like, what comic books are you reading?
I'm cured! Praise God!
He evaded!
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Get me the meat and give it to me raw.
For a modern gaming audience.
If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble.
Welcome to Nerd Wars. Sorry about that. Welcome to Nerd Wars.
Please clap.
Welcome back to Nerd Wars, indeed. You guessed it. I finally remembered I was supposed to stream this week. I blame Badger for keeping me up all night.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But somehow, the same people that were there last night have shown up in the chat. So it's good to see them. Hello, all.
Yeah, Mr. Badger over here passed 1,000 subscribers.
Woo!
Thanks
Yes,
to
I
me.
did.
You're welcome.
Yes. Yeah, and then Erwin proceeded to destroy my channel last night. Derail all the topics.
It was under attack by
To
me.
show me what he
and
has
fear.
to deal with when we have some certain guests on that love to say choice words. Now, it was fun.
all
And thank
guests,
everyone
really.
for showing up. Appreciate it. Way more people than I thought.
Honestly, we're kind of just going back into this because he's starting it off with the topics. We today are going to be talking, of course, about what else? Sydney Sweeney's Bobs, but also Sweet Baby Inc. But now that I'm a games journalist, I found a hot scoop. Oh boy, you think this is Gamergate 2? You have no idea it's Gamergate 2.5. Because as has been pointed out, Gamergate never ended. It just got expansion packs, mini expansion packs. But what we're doing now, I think we got a full-on Gamergate 2 release.
You're a games journalist now. How does it feel? Do you feel icky?
Do you think Gamergate 2 is going to come with first day downloadable content and a cash shop and a battle pass?
I don't know, but I hope there's a subscriber experience boost on this special event that's popped up. Once anyone that's got a YouTube channel right now, if you play this special event, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, still weird. There's even some little extra scraps around. We're kind of taking the views out, but we're gonna wait for it to get down, and then bam, I'm gonna release a documentary.
Yeah. You don't want to tire people out. Got to keep the narrative focused.
For all my documentary subscribers who may be watching 5 seconds of this before unsubscribing, I swear I've got 2 documentaries coming out. I've got a documentary coming out shortly and a documentary coming out to be decided.
Don't hate it. Don't hate it.
No, I'm afraid of. I said never again for a reason, and you all forced me. Y'all forced me to make documentaries. Yeah, honestly, the Gamergate Battle Pass sounds tight. Like the first like legendary skin you get would be the Kabrutus Doom Guy skin.
I hear about
That's
some of the
simpler.
earlier scandals, and it's like, ooh, finally. It's like the old veterans talking about a war they fought in. It's like, we get our own.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Because I'm a Gamergate normie, I just knew, the basics. I knew some Anita Sarkeesian, some Zoe Quinn, some sleeping around, some problems with games journalism ethics. And unlike Kotaku, I have games journalism ethics. So I got some mission creep. This article and documentary is taking a while because I can't just be like, don't trust me. Just like read the comments. Now that I'm a games journalist, I actually have to double check facts and give only things I'm sure are solid. And I just wanted to make fun of pronouns and crazy Canadians calling themselves settlers. That's all I wanted.
It's my favorite part.
Then this Gamergate normie ended up going down the Gamergate rabbit hole because I stepped in it.
This whole thing has proven to me truly that the greatest threat to anything.
I'm sorry.
The greatest threat to anything on this planet is a middle-aged guilty white woman. They are responsible for the destruction of so many things. It's not even quantifiable.
I got a good story about that. So on Schminfo Wars, they do polls on the side. One of the polls was, who's destroying the country the most? And it was, like black gangsta dudes and all the demographics, and white liberal women were the ones voted to be destroying the country the most by a huge margin. So they think we're all evil racists, but it's like we hate white women the most. Allegedly. Sorry. In
Minecraft.
Once I become a Gamergate figure, they're going to go through all my stuff, so I got to be careful. I'm going to say allegedly in the article and documentary about every 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's opinion. It's just an opinion, because you can't sue someone for an opinion, only if we state it as fact.
Yeah, I have a great responsibility now, and with great responsibility comes great power, and I'm going to get my power all over the place.
Say the way they did it in Madam Web. How did they say it in Madam Web again?
With white liberal woman power, Catwoman power.
Well, I think the important thing that we're going to focus on this is just the same attack that we've had. I don't remember either.
You say it. I know you put me on the spot.
How'd you remember it?
Oh, you think I memorized every line? I know they do say it all weird and whatnot. Yeah, but
recounted like you did.
Hey, Tag, you're it. You're the host now.
All right.
No, wait. I changed my mind. Problematic white guy's the host now. Wait,
right,
actually,
ahead,
no. Before we get to you. God, you're always trying to steal the spotlight from me.
Yeah.
Problematic white guy might have been making some AI art for us. This was the wrong one. God, you put the wrong one up,
Instead of sleeping, he went and made AI pictures of me and Sydney Sweeney, and me as Sydney Sweeney. I don't know.
This one made me feel feelings I was not comfortable with.
Yeah. It wasn't Irwin's proudest fat, but it was one of them.
I got it over quickly. Thank you very much. You talking about Shogun first?
Yeah,
all right, I'll allow it.
I think this is just letting anyone know, if you haven't, Shogun right here with this guy, and everyone is saying it's really good. It only has one book, and they adapted the one book, and he says we took the story to the end of the book and put a period at the end of that sentence. We love how the book ends. It was one of the reasons why we both knew we wanted to do it, and we ended exactly that place. So to me,
Yes.
this fills me with hope. I will actually watch it now because everyone's saying it's good. I don't have to worry about a cliffhanger ending. And it sounds like they're not even going to attempt to do a second season, which means they would have to make shit up. And we saw how that worked for the Game of Thrones guys.
Down upwards, I just want to point out you need to put in allegedly at the end of that. As your lawyer, I advise you to just put allegedly or JK at the end of everything. And then you can get away with whatever you want. We're above 50 here. Can we get some gays in chat? Sorry, that was from last night. Angry Badger streaming now. We tricked him into killing his channel. Gunho Mac, finally.
See?
Finally. Been wondering where you were at. All right. Everyone at Gunho Mac and say hilarious things and tell him how cute he is. Or she, allegedly.
We sure can.
Now that I'm a games journalist, I'm feeling a little bit like Badger in this picture here. Now that I'm a games journalist, I'm feeling like I might be a different gender. All right, you have the stage. Stop interrupting. God. All right.
I said that I wasn't here to be easy on the eyes for you, and so you had an AI picture made of me to be easy on the eyes for you. I don't appreciate it.
I told this guy he needed to stop buying comic books and toys for 2 months and get a VTuber model, and he's like, went full crackhead on me.
Well, what can you do? It's an addiction that must never stop.
Stop buying them for 2 months and get a VTuber model of a super hot badger.
You know what else isn't stopping?
Me interrupting you?
No, well, that will never happen. No.
Oh,
Dune.
did I fully remove that? Good.
Yeah.
Good.
No, Dune, who has already beat its original domestic box office. It's going to beat way more than that. Shows you what an actual profitable movie can be. When you just do a good story and have decent acting. Yes, and I'm including Zendaya, however you say her stupid name. I thought she was good in it. Even though you think she's a one-note frowny girl, which I can't argue with, but as a one-note frowny girl, that one note was done well.
Well, to be fair, I mean, she was written as frowny girl, so
that's what I'm saying.
She acted what she was supposed to.
Yeah, she acted the way she was supposed to. But again, I just think, remember no one was going to the movies and everyone was like, oh, the movie theaters are done. No one cares. It's like, no. They'll care if it's something good, if it's something worth seeing.
Like this?
You could go that route. Yes. I was thinking more of the line of, how about let's watch every single Spider-Man movie in the theater again? Because that's what's happening in the month of April, at least with Cinemark. We're getting them all a re-release in the theaters again. And I'm here for it because that includes all the Raimi ones, which you've seen those in the theaters, right? You were younger.
The Spider-Verse stuff too? No, currently no
the first
plans.
one. The first one.
All right, all out.
Yeah, no, there aren't. Right. So it's just those, and then the Tom
No
Holland
Way
one.
Home. Okay,
Yeah.
so it ends with the team up.
It ends
okay,
with,
makes sense.
No Way Home.
All out.
Right.
Any popcorn buckets you can fudge.
I think we should have a Sandman popcorn bucket. Oh,
I just pulled it up. You
I
pulled
know,
it up.
but I like it saying gay. Sorry, I was looking at the article. Got to shout him out. God.
You got to let me. I'm the producer now. Thank you very much.
All right, good.
All right.
You do that.
You need to focus on your stories, not Sydney Sweeney.
But
even her AI art is hot as fuck.
But I will be putting her as a Spider-Woman, even though this has nothing to do with anything. I will be putting her as Spider-Woman with big boobies in the entire time, anytime I do a story on this, which I will. Because, I would also wager Spider-Man 3, which got a lot of not love. It probably aged a lot better.
That's the Venom one?
Yeah.
Right?
Because Raimi was basically forced to use Venom. He didn't want to do it. He just wanted to do Sandman. And I could have seen that arc because Sandman sort of a sympathetic villain. He was doing it for his daughter. But yeah, he was forced to use, and then Topher Grace is Eddie Brock. And
oh, yeah. Their like argument in the office is so like awkward, and I mean they're a bunch of nerds and stuff, so I guess it makes sense. But yeah, I've used that for a clip, and I'm just like,
but it also it gave us Toby. It gave us Toby doing the Bully Maguire, and some of the best, and also, Bryce Dallas Howard as Gwen Stacy. Nothing wrong with that.
Wait, that was old Argyle Chubby Cheeks?
This was like 20 years ago. She wasn't Chubby Cheeks. She was young and hot. And
I saw her in something else. My buddy was watching Jurassic Worlds again, and I saw that, and you noticed the progression, and I'm just like, women always talk about how hard they have it in Hollywood. Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, well, congratulations. We're getting 3 more of those Jurassic Park movies.
Wait, shut the front door. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Jurassic World.
They're the original script writer that adapted the first 2 movies into the first 2 Jurassic Park. He's coming back to do a new trilogy of movies. And like
Jurassic Universe.
Basically,
Dinosaurs
they're not going to stop.
Space.
Fast and the Furious is going to go on forever, no matter what they say.
They went into space. They went into space at one point.
It's the new jumping the shark. You just put him in fucking space, and there you go. That's what happens.
Jumping the megalodon. God, I'm so good.
I'll watch it. But I think the only other thing we are going to talk about before everyone is in, we already got 64. Besides that is video game adaptations to movie and cinema. We're seeing it with Last of Us and other things. They're not going to stop until they come for all of them. This will be this generation's comic book movies. They were probably largely not done well, looking at you, Halo. But we're getting a Watch Dogs. You ready for a Watch Dogs adaptation? Starring, of course, a girl.
Yeah!
A girl! Ew!
Just like Fallout. Is she as hot as the Fallout girl, though? That's my
Sophie Wilde. I don't know. I didn't actually look her up because the fact that they didn't even put
you haven't researched her yet?
No, go ahead. They put in they put the protagonist from the second game, which it's not as iconic. The main guy, Aiden Pierce, was the best one.
One guy has the dog though, which is what the last Fallout.
Yeah, well, dog meat's in it. Yeah, but anyway, in this one, I just want to say it says specific plot details are still secret, but the film will presumably follow the overall premise of the video game. Which, even they don't know. But all we should know is that it's a chick. Which could be fine, but
is she lame and gay?
I would assume so, because that's the thing we're also talking about. All these inclusion standards aren't going away, even if we're now calling them out and we're tired of them. So they still have a hierarchy, an oppression hierarchy that they like to tag as many parts. So expect her to be non-ableist and have a couple checkboxes and be super awesome girl bossy. At least that's what I would expect. Yeah.
I used to like Hacker Girl. I just naturally I see a Hacker Girl now and I'm just
well, Angelina Jolie in the movie Hackers, she ain't.
Warehouse 13, I believe it was. It was similar to that Eureka show on Sci-Fi. Really good. There was the alt girl, the hacker chick girl in that. And she was great, and her relationship with the older guy, Artie, was a really great like father and daughter relationship. And it was so sweet, where normally if you'd have the hacker chick plus an old like Jewish guy, it would just be all like oppressed with this,
can't have
oppressed
those
with
relationships.
that.
Sorry, men can't teach a woman something.
And it was great,
okay, well,
and they
that
loved
makes
each
sense.
other. And it's lovely.
Yeah, that makes sense. I found out who's going to be starring in the Watch Dogs. What did we just say about the oppression?
Oh my
hierarchy?
god! How many sides of the head is gonna be shaved? 1 or 2?
Well, at least 1. There it is. So that should go. That should tell you what they're going for. And yes, she will probably be lame and gay.
She seems to have some small personalities as well, which
No personalities whatsoever, unfortunately. Yeah. So that's that.
I'm researching this Ella Purnell at the moment, the Fallout chick.
Well,
Yes.
that's all right. That's
for
all right.
science purposes.
Let's see.
We're at 70 viewers, bro. What happened? All your subscribers came over here finally,
The
right?
legend of Darwin
Lord.
and Beaver spreads far and wide. Yeah, I went over there to Leon's channel last night while he was on Words of Paradise. Of course, he immediately accidentally called me Beaver. That was funny.
Yeah, Ella Purnell checks out. I guess I can tell you what else she's been in. Let's get around to it.
Yeah, Get Lost Games. You make a good point. That Max Payne with Mark Wahlberg and yeah, Meg, Family Guy. There you go.
Oh yes, Jinx. We have already. Oh, there we go. Paying my bills over here. Loudy, Loud 689. You are keeping the water turned on. You're keeping my internet only going out occasionally because I live in a third world apartment complex.
That would be fun.
Star Trek, Army of the Dead, Arcane, Jinx. All right, Fallout. I've got some hope for it because I don't know anything about Fallout.
Yeah, so you won't know the subversion they're probably doing. Yeah,
you're the one subverting. Thank you very much.
There hasn't been any major red flags with Fallout. It's just an overall pattern recognition of I haven't had any. There's no goodwill there to be like, yeah, I'm sure they'll do it right. I'm sure even though they show every white man is either a villain or screaming very loudly, even though they have major Finn and Rey vibes.
Finn! Yeah! We're bringing back Star Wars. Don't you miss Star Wars? Remember when they were going to make a movie like every year like they were at Call of Duty? When was the last time they had a movie?
Yeah, instead they're re-releasing the prequels. I'm going to see Phantom Menace again when it comes out.
Disney show.
Yeah,
sorry,
I guess
you're not.
This case, it is. You do have to be hypocritical. I'll fucking support the older shit.
Are you one of them?
I want to be excited for Fallout. I want to be. I'm the unabashed prequel lover and enjoyer. Bro, I remember watching it 2 weeks
also a
early
lover enjoyer of Star Wars
because Mama Badger worked at Fox Studios, so I got to see an employee screening 2 weeks early. And when I came out, I was so jazzed. I looked around, all the adults were like, I heard one of them go, that kind of sucked, didn't it? You know what? I was a kid. I was 13. I thought it was awesome because apparently it was made for kids. Oh, look, he shows up instead of 2 minutes before we sign off like last night. That was fun. That's right. Your Latinx is here. The representation.
He loves me more because I have a better show and channel.
Sure, even though it's functionally the same.
You're getting there, Badge.
Thanks. I'm trying.
No, I edit things. Thank you very much.
Oh, you meant that? Yeah, no, I don't. What's editing? I just do it live.
It's a lot harder than streaming. I tell you that much.
Is it hard on your soul?
Sometimes I forget that I'm streaming. Like when the clock is counting down at the beginning and it gets to 1, I'm like, oh, I have to hit the intro button.
Hold on, I'm doing this.
What the hell is even that?
We got to have this up at all times. The boobs. Oh,
yeah,
the boobs. No, I'm just kidding. We can't do it all the time. We'll blow the algorithm. Although we did have Sydney Sweeney's boobs up last night for a surprisingly long time.
Did you see the thumbnail?
And everything did go down the less we had it up. So
we're not talking about Sydney Sweeney today, but she is in the thumbnail.
Oh yeah, no, unfortunately we're not talking about that. We have other things.
Wait, speaking of, don't you still have one more? You gotta segue me in. I
guess this would segue.
We got 70. Dude, we got 77 people here. We need to segue into all this crazy Sweet Baby Inc. drama.
That is, we've all been enjoying a very lovely algorithm with Sweet Baby Inc. and all the infiltration. And as we've pointed out,
I love Sweet Baby Inc.
This is functionally no different than what has happened to movies and comics already. It is the same neo-Marxist infiltration, but in this form, and this always happens, once we call it out with force, what happens? We get attacked by puppets of this regime, the mainstream legacy media. And of course, that is what Spencer here from Bounding into Comics is pointing out, that in full force, the mainstream press has come against all this. If you made a talk about this, a topic or a video or something, you made a tweet, guess what? You just got called, not that you're surprised, you're pretty used to it at this point. You got called a racist and sexist and homophobic and bigoted and all the lovely things they love to dismiss
anti-Semitic. Thank you very much.
And somehow anti-Semitic. Don't know how that works out. But I do love what he
it's
says.
Ryan Rodriguez who he's talking about.
And well, the truth is reality based. Even Spencer here says, do you want another Gamergate? Because this is how you get another Gamergate. And guess what, boys and girls? We got another game. Gamergate is back on the menu, people. How's that for your segue? Oh, Madam Web, hi.
So,
look, Madam Web Grogu has joined us.
Oh, wait, me?
Yeah, because those are the vibes she gets at the end.
Madam Web. I didn't know what you were talking about on account of that being in the movie for about 3 seconds.
Yeah, well.
So, is this Gamergate 2? Oh my God. I already, just like metaphorically and such, it's very much Gamergate 2. But the more I look into it, Jesus Christ, it's Gamergate 2 bajillion and a half. As I go down the rabbit hole, I keep finding more connections and keep being more disgusted by these people. I started off hating Kotaku already, and now you just wait for it. As I switch my windows to different monitors, Badger, fill the dead air.
Yeah, and it's not just the Sweet Baby Inc. logo; it's the baby affixation that they do to everything. The baby ghost. It's very. They continue to say the quiet part out loud and then act like, oh, what are you talking about?
Let me... Oh, I have to be in a different window.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just say it. What got me on this was Chris Kindred. He's this Sweet Baby Inc. employee along with Lego Butts, who is a Gamergate figure, was attacking the Steam curator, Cabrutus, with the Sweet Baby Inc. detected. So I just wanted to know... which Hitno noticed this, is Chris Kindred a man or a woman?
I always thought it was a dude at first, but then you see the thing and it's like, oh, it's a woman.
Yeah, and then like the profile picture, like the artistic one, the lips look super feminine, and I don't know. And that question right there ended up with me becoming, we got to do this, a games journalist. Gross! I know!
What the hell is even that?
I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, fudge. Sorry, hold on. My professional Star Wars fan ears have fallen off.
Oh, this is glorious.
Switch the camera! Switch the camera!
I'm
quick.
not going to deny them this. Yeah.
So,
remember, that's what we're fighting for, all right? Stay with it. That's what we're fighting for.
So I went to the LinkedIn of Chris Kindred, which I would pull up, but I'm in a different browser and all that stuff, and you got to sign up and whatnot. Okay, so first post was something or another. Second post was from Weird Ghost, and in that post, they talk about how now Sweet Baby Inc. is part of their cohort 3, and I'm like, a cohort? What are you on about, bro? So in that, when they're talking about Sweet Baby, they say the Sweet Baby babies at Sweet Baby Inc. or something weird and creepy like that, and they put 2 rainbow emojis around where they said baby twice.
Of course.
You just everyone notices when you look at that website, you just hear the creepy old like ice cream truck music start playing, like It the Clown's about to be behind it.
Isn't it also
creepy.
like a defense thing? Like, oh no, look how we're sweet and innocent. It's just Sweet Baby. Oh, good old Sweet Baby. They got an innocent little baby over there.
It's Bill Gates wearing a pink polo. That's what Schmalik Schmones always talks about. If Schmittler had just been wearing a pink polo, we'd all be speaking German now.
He was a vegan and an art lover.
Oh, yeah. Wolf in sheep's clothing. That's what these people are.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Cry bullies as well. Gamergate, yeah. Cry bullies and wolves in sheep clothing. And a bunch of weird, incestuous, like back in the pile. We're going to get into some Gamergate. I can't believe I stepped in this. So I found Weird Ghost and I brought them up on Twitter. And then later I got a DM when I checked back, and apparently I had been blocked, and Weird Ghost had like privated everything. But weirdest of all, their website had been taken down, and it just said in small text, Weird Ghost. And I have a screenshot of it.
So either taken down or hit because everyone was researching them?
No one was researching it. I've checked to see other people who've done some stuff on it. I was like 2 days before everybody.
Interesting.
I am pretty certain now at this point I'm the reason the website got taken down. For one tweet that now has like 4 and less than 500 views. Like at the time was like 3,000 views.
Yeah, by the way, Wikipedia has been compromised for a long time. You can't trust any of those editing things.
That's Gamergate. Yes, Gamergate had Wikipedia wars and stuff. And that's how Wikipedia works is they use like the mainstream sources. So all the games media were using themselves as the sources. And then it's like, oh, I want to make a point. Well, I'm just going to link my friend's article. It was also super anti-Gamergate. Okay, so
what's great is if anyone ever takes you to court and they use this as evidence, the way you look right now, allegedly, I don't think this is why. I think you'll be just fine. Bring you up in a big court screen. They're like, this is the guy. He's wearing a tinfoil hat.
Wait, hold on. This game's journalism is for entertainment purposes only. Thank you very much.
Yeah. We here at the Badger Legion neither endorse nor align with said views.
We both condemn and condone it. Allegedly. So the thing I'd found out from my Gamergate inside source that had to tell me was the person running this Weird Ghost was a major Gamergate figure, and one that people hadn't figured out. They had already seen Lego Butts, who helped Chris Kindred try to cancel Cabrutus, and people knew that connection, and then there's some other loose connections. But then I found like the other side, one of the big sides, the more recent side of Gamergate, which we will get into when Zoe Quinn fake Me Too'd yet. This is during all the fake Me Too stuff. So in 2019, Night in the Woods developer got fake Me Too'd, name run through the game's media and destroyed. Yeah. And mental health issues, couldn't work in his field again, got fired from a company he helped start, and he Minecrafted himself.
And you, except for that last part, could have been talking about so many mostly straight white men, I'll say, that have been working in the industry from Disney animation to Pixar, all these things. What you just said is the exact tactic and situation that happened to all of them. They got falsely Me Too'd out of their jobs, and or life was made. And we also just did a story about the chief DEI officer for Warner Brothers. They basically say this: they'll make your life so miserable. They'll either make it miserable, they'll ignore you to the point where you essentially either self-delete or you quit. You leave your job, and they think that is just dandy.
Male and pale is stale.
There it is. It got used to push people out, and then not even competent people were brought in.
And not just games in Hollywood did this happen. Comicsgate is like all the same exact thing too. It's the same thing
in Minecraft, allegedly, yes.
And so that's actually what brought me from politics to this, was because I was seeing this sort of stuff, and I'm like, this is exactly how they do it all in politics. Because guess what? All the nerds who just wanted to hide their heads in their hole and their escapism, this all got fudged up because of politics, and not caring about politics isn't going to fix it. Sadly, we have to care about politics.
And the irony here is, don't feel bad about being a game journalist, because you're actually doing real journalism. You actually are. That's the joke of it. And you're going to find more truth and factual information, because trust me, he's been going over it and over it, making sure he doesn't disappoint anyone. That you will find on any of the mainstream legacy stuff. So we're joking, but we're also sort of not joking when we say we're the mainstream media now, because we'll at least tell you truth.
I haven't even told you the juiciest part. So this guy who Minecrafted himself after he got fired from a company he started, he had his own company called Infinite Ammo. And then his crazy ass SJW sister, who seemed to have sided with the fake Me Too allegations that led to his demise, inherited his company, and then now is using that to fund this weird ghost company that I had just found out was doing a grant, so funding, but with a grant, Sweet Baby Inc. So I allegedly, Gamergate blood money is being used to finance Sweet Baby Inc. is the too long didn't read. And
influencer money all around, investment money all around.
And through their other company, Gamma Space, because we got Weird Ghost, which does this weird, they actually like finance we'll talk about it. And then Baby Ghost is grants, and that's what Sweet Baby Inc. is getting, along with a bunch of crazy ass hyper woke Canadian devs, which my video out today will be going through all of the past cohorts that they had sponsored. And then they've got Gamma Space. They had tried this. They're all a bunch of crazy Canadians from like Toronto, which is they're in Ontario, which is like the French place where they hate the rest of Canada and force them to speak French while they don't try to speak in English. It's like if France were just in Canada, they don't speak for all Canadians.
Well,
but
this is also a bigger problem. There's a lot of problems with it, but one of the bigger problems of globalization is that we now have to have influence from Canadian consultant companies and all the other fun little ideology that keeps spreading out back and forth through reverse osmosis. And yeah, remember, we're all just a bunch of picky gamers. That's what Kim Belair said. We're all just a bunch of picky gamers, and we can't be given what we want. We need to be forced to be told what is good for us. And that
everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
Marxism.
Gamma Space. So Gamma Space, the other person who is with Weird Ghost tried to set up some like crazy commie office space, like collective co-op shit, because they're all about all this collective and co-op, and they are clearly some Marxists. Some of the stuff's anti-capitalist and whatnot. All that stuff is what I originally just wanted to make fun of before I stumbled into this. So they had some failed art center and that took like $1 million of public funding, and that didn't work out because of drama, because all these people's stuff always fails because of drama. So
and lack of talent, lack of merit.
They created Gamma Space to be the next like crazy commie place for all these like indie devs to be able to work out, have office space and whatnot. So through Gamma Space, that's also what's funding this Baby Ghost, which is now funding Sweet Baby Inc. They get money from Ontario Creates, which is a part of the Ontario government. So basically, Baby Ghost, I'm not sure if they've gotten it for 2024. The 2023 and 2022, they say that the cohorts got funding through Ontario's taxpayers. So they haven't listed 2024 yet. But so the Ontario taxpayer is paying for Baby Ghost to pay Sweet Baby Inc. to ruin AAA games and ruin indie games. Which my whole stance on this is indie games is where all of this crap belongs. I'm fine with all these weirdos being weirdos in indie games.
That's exactly what Chris Gore said, but he was talking about movies. The whole reason it started. Yeah,
all
these things.
Yes, keep it out.
All this weirdo shit and extrapolate that to what you want. All these niche, like, oh, we're going to do it for the audience that is only like 0.001% of the population. That's a niche, and it needs to stay in. It needs to stay in indie films and indie games and all that. Now, can some of those games transcend and make it mainstream every once in a while? Sure, but it does not need to be the forced, and that's the point, is all of this shit is enforced, and when you enforce it, as we're finding out from all these inclusion standards, it turns out it's highly illegal to actually enforce this type of equity, because equity is not natural in any environment. There's no such thing as everyone ending up at the same spot.
Remember,
that doesn't really mean that.
Remember when they tricked us into thinking equality was racist? And we needed equity instead?
And math is racist, and the outside is racist, and this is... it's a disgusting call. Everything racist and sexist until you control it.
So I will say, some of these indie games that these crazies have made are actually quite good. Some of them are like Zoe Quinn's Depression Quest that aren't even really games. So the other place that this company gets funding is from the Ultimate Chicken Horse developers, who are also, of course, Canadian and hyper woke and call themselves settlers, and none of them are gender fluid, but they all have pronouns in their freaking bios and stuff.
But they call themselves queer, so that makes them taken advantage of, underrepresented, even though they're like the white master race that stole all the land, apparently, by their definitions.
Yeah, they all live in Toronto, because they have to say the settler names first. All right, we're ready to go into this. That was just the primer. And that's the whole thing with Gamergate, was all this giant incestuous ball.
Call Me Chado pronounces it Toronto. He's the T, that second T he says is silent, and he's from Toronto. I would say Toronto, but he says Toronto. Who cares?
Yeah, if you're taking advice from Canadians, this is your first warning. Just heads up. If you want to remain on the show so I can get you to 2,000 subscribers. I totally got into the first 1,000 subscribers. That's canon.
Hey, look, this guy loves you, dude.
You better. I've been wondering, how do you pronounce that? Is the T silent in that as well? Is it just PP? Yeah. Westward gets it. Okay, so that was just the primer. So that's how I ended up becoming a games journalist, was because I finally talked to Jeremy from G&G, and I was telling him about the story, and he's like, "Oh, you should share it with our editor-in-chief at the website," which we'll talk about at the end of the stream. And I was like, "It's a little too dense. It's gonna be really hard. Like, I should write it." Giggity. No, and then he's like, "Well, do you just want to write articles for the website about gaming?"
Yeah.
And I'm getting paid.
It's like
it's voluntarily-ish, but I'm on salary, so I haven't written an article yet, but I'm a professional games journalist. I just wanted to know if this person was a dude or a chick.
I'm not gonna lie, this pisses me off too. And when they say "not" for zero, every time "as" says "not," bro, just say
Zed?
zero.
We complaining about Zed?
Z and
yeah,
Zed.
Zed.
Yeah.
Lol.
It's fine. I'll give you a lot. I'll give you football over soccer. I'll give you a lot, but the Z and the "not" do bother me. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, do we know Chris? Man, are we still up and on here?
No idea.
The obfuscation is off the charts.
What's funny? So Hypno is the only other person I've noticed has said something about this, and he thinks it's the opposite. He thinks it's a man pretending to be a woman, but I think it's a woman pretending to be a man.
Gay black man pretending to be a black woman, because that's higher on the protection scale of hierarchies.
What's insane though is it's not in the bio. And what I learned from going through all these studios and such and NGOs and what have you is a lot of them on the website, the very first tab is the about page, the about us. They are... Everyone needs to know about them, and they are a little narcissistic and crazy as hell, as I'm learning with Gamergate research. I've got like another hour and a half video I have to watch.
Okay, so you know how we always talk about, and I always say that you don't need a formal conspiracy where interests align. Part of the reason these little demons are so happy to do all of this to all of us, and you know who I'm talking about, is they're so narcissistic. That's what Az's rant about is. They're so narcissistic. All they care about is themselves. Why don't you care about my sexuality and who I and this and this? That's all they care about. So they're very happy to push all these higher agendas that serve a darker purpose, because it's talking about them. Why do you think they're all in therapy? It's not because they have any actual real problems. They get to talk about themselves just to another narcissistic motherfucker. Yeah,
the biggest thing I have learned from this is that they are
salam, my brother.
They're all crazy as hell, which is why one of them Minecrafted himself after he was lied about. But that's the whole thing. Zoe Quinn and her 5 guys, the whole reason she was exposed was because her ex had dealt with absolute crazy town and found out he'd been cheated on 5 times. And that's the person who accused the Night in the Woods developer of the sexual assaults and such. And then he Minecrafted himself. So I had thought this was all just the girls faking it, but it started with a guy doing a super long breakup post. And he documents her insanity. And that's when I was like, oh, wow. And then a lot of all the harassment and all the like attacks and doxing or swatting or any of that sort of stuff. The vast majority of it, other than probably some edgy DMs and tweets, the vast majority of it seems to have been fabricated and just full-blown made up.
That's what it seems. A lot of all of it has just been made up.
And they figured it out, and then like 5 women made accusations, one of which was Zoe Quinn against Alec Holoka, or however you pronounce his name.
What do you mean it was a targeted attack?
Yeah, 5 women came out at the same time, and she was one of them. 5 guys, 5 women. Oh my God. Yeah, so basically the Whammons were trying to get back for the Zoe post exposing her insanity. So I don't even know where I was going with, other than they were crazy.
Got distracted by this guy loving us.
I keep looking at this
with those goddamn glasses on?
Dude, it's and then these are like, there's this strip, so there's 2 big lines through everything I'm seeing. So I just keep getting distracted by these colors. Honestly, this forced dark mode, this looks a lot better. Normally it's blinding. I have to turn the exposure down when I put this in videos because it's so bright and child luring.
You know what I hate is that I hear things like this. It's ma'am. I now hear those clips in my head so perfectly. It's going live. Like all of those now live forever in the zeitgeist of my brain. I can't get them out.
Yo, I'm sorry that your wiener is small.
Yep, that one too. Thank you, Jay. Sweet.
Let's try that again.
Sweet baby Jay. When's Jay coming on as a guest? That'll be fun.
Woke.
Congratulations.
Not that one.
His book's gonna be coming out soon. When he does that, he's gonna be coming on all the rounds. You want Jay on your channel? Jay will come on your channel. All over
great.
it.
Yeah. I'll play the clip of him staring.
I've got like 12 tabs open, so we got to do this, homie. So, Sweet Baby Inc. trying to lure childs in and ruin AAA gaming. Are they ruining it as much as some people are assuming? I hate to side with Kotaku, but some people aren't fully understanding. A lot of that has to do with the CEO and all the people. The way they talk like they are the ones behind all of this. But it seems like they kind of come in at the end because they are narrative designers. And narrative is something that comes up a lot. Like their games, Zoe Quinn's Depression Quest is less of a game and more of a narrative. So they actually explain the difference between, I'll have to look it up, writers and narrative designers. And from what I can tell, these woke-ass companies already have these narrative designers in them. Where's modern? Yeah, find me modern game. Do I not have it in here? Okay, well, it's just in the intro. The modern gaming audience for the new Indiana Jones, which is Bethesda, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, it's going to be so painful.
The dude with the hair and the rainbows and stuff, that's their lead narrative designer. So these companies...
The modern gaming audience.
There we go. Yeah. That guy, if you look at his title down below, lead narrative designer. They're all about narrative.
Oh, and I guarantee you that some of the games that have really gotten the Suicide Squads and the Alan Wakes 2 had narrative consultants, not just, and also dialogue. Like, it's different levels of what they will get to.
That's the thing, yeah. And the CEO talks about how she does writing, and then also narrative stuff and consultancy, because these guys are the ones, the sensitivity readers. They literally say sensitivity reader. Yeah, here, I'll get y'all.
And now Boeing, also brought to you by Boeing.
Oh, God. Yeah. What, we have 5 plane crashes in the last week?
Yeah. Well, and also their defense contracts, so they sort of want certain things to happen. So there's not. Yeah, it's a very much of a brought to you by Pfizer situation.
Oh, yeah. One thing, too, I want to go ahead and bring up that a lot of people seem to be forgetting in all of this is up here, Valve. The third one, Valve. That means any game you buy on Steam is going to one of the clients of Sweet Baby Inc. Sadly.
Well, and I haven't been able to find. I'm still so allegedly, but the great Dead Pulio, who finally showed up, was saying that he was watching Gundam, and Gundam's talking about the fact that Mass Effect Andromeda had some Sweet Baby Inc. influence, and that game famously had some questionable story things.
So my stance is it's less them fudging it up, and they are the woke cherry on top of the giant fudge up. Because look at all these. So Xbox Game Studios, that's a bunch now, which also includes, I think, Bethesda, Electronic Arts, Santa Monica, 2K, Ubisoft. Apparently Ubisoft was the first one who gave this crazy Sweet Baby CEO a job. So Ubisoft is partly to blame. Square Enix, WB, Rocksteady, Wizards of the Coast, you wonder why we got the woke Lord of the Rings cards and whatnot. But it's not them coming into a normal company to screw it all up. It's already a screwed up company because they already have all the Sweet Baby narrative designers and the HR DEI stuff already.
We are not defending them, but we will explain. Yeah, so they're coming into an already corrupted company and corrupting them further.
No, momento. Just one last point. So it's not that they are doing the race swapping of the characters. They are coming in after the race swap of the characters to make the race swap characters more realistic, because you got to have that representation from people. So it's like, we got to give Miles the swag of a young black teen. So they come in after there's already the swag of the young black teen to say if that swagginess is the correct amount of swagger.
Yeah, I 100% that is true most of the time. But I also think sometimes they come in, and if it's allowed, they go, well, how about this main character who's white? couldn't they be black? And I think this is 100% what happened with Alan Wake and Saga, who again was already established, had an actress, they had film footage.
Well,
it was done.
They've been pretty clear that they are not responsible for that. Whether or not we believe them, things like say God of War, they worked on quite early. So that sort of stuff they'll have more influence. But it won the GDCs, which is another. That's where all the crazy indie devs from the anti-gamergators, that's where they go to. You got like Anita Sarkeesian and all that stuff. So when she talked there, she talked about how they came in late and how these crazy woke companies need to bring them in earlier. And she had, I think, made posts similar to that as well. So she was complaining don't bring us into like fix stuff, bring us into like create stuff. So I think they are coming in at the end, but the way some of them talk and like the stuff on the Sweet Baby website, I totally understand why people thought they were the ones doing the race swap and whatnot. But it turns out, because I'm not trying to say, oh, Kotaku's right and we're all wrong.
Yeah.
It's bigger. They don't understand the self-own they just made. They're saying Sweet Baby Inc. isn't this conspiracy. This is already in all of video games. So what they're saying is, hey, it's not this one person that's woke ruining video games. It's the whole industry that is woke and ruining video games. Thank you for making my point for me, Kotaku. I really, really appreciate it. So these guys are just a woke chariot on top and are a great way to get into it. But some people find out about like a Sweet Baby Inc. or a BlackRock or ESG, and then they just blame everything on it. A lot of it is, these are just a bunch of crazy SJWs. A lot of it is just ideology. It's the woke mind virus has gone through them all. They don't need to have some formal conspiracy. They got the woke mind virus that connects them all Borg style, and they're just carrying out the same plan because they got a tiny little playbook that's like that thin. Which is just lies, projection, obfuscate, censor, fallacy.
The bigger thing is in a pop culture war where you can't often tell who's civilian and who's a target. Sweet Baby Inc. are marching around in fucking uniforms with their emblem on the thing. And so it's at least a focused target of this ephemeral culture war that's often behind the scenes with these inclusion things that you never see or hear about. Well, here it is right out in the open, provable, and they talk about it very openly, what they are doing. And what they are doing is what we're saying is what is everyone else is doing and has been doing for quite some time. So while they're not obviously the main big bad, they're one of them, and pointing it out should lead to all the other ones. So yeah, it's important to note they are just one of many, many, many corrupted things in a vast corrupt from every franchise has been influenced to, of course, different degrees with the message. It's all done by the same nutters, and they're all getting the same variants of ESG money from different.
I found it.
How long that lasts, I don't know, because you're seeing Suicide Squad fail utterly. All right.
Hold on. You're talking about ESG money. We hit 100 for the first time. Let's fucking go. So the ESG money, I also believe, is a bit overblown, especially now. I don't think they're getting it now because all that 0% interest money ran out. Now, the venture capital back in the day, that was also a big part of it, which some of that was probably some ESG stuff.
But it goes to how long they can last because it's not profitable.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I got you. I'm just saying as far as people doing like strawmans and blaming, because that's how they're coming after us. And this time I want to beat these fucks. So we got to not be lazy. We all have to be game journalists with actual ethics now. And as someone who, I feel partly responsible for some of the blame everything on BlackRock and ESG stuff because of my documentaries. So that's one of the reasons. And I kind of fell for some of this stuff too because I didn't realize what they actually do. And then I watched some of the stuff and read this. And then I was like, oh, these fuckers do come in at the end. I don't think they have as much effect. But that's because the actual companies are already crazy wokes because it's infected everything. Which is what Gamergate was partly all about because all that was, all gamers are sexist. That was the whole push. And then we had the Five Guys, which we'll be getting to eventually.
Yeah, but that's the same. All fans, always. You didn't like Ray Skywalker? You're sexist. You're mad that a girl got the Millennium Falcon,
what I'm saying.
bro.
Yeah. All the Hollywood stuff. Comicsgate, politics, it's all the same.
And then the legacy media comes in and backs it up. All the normies believe it. All they hear is just our toxic thing and everything is explained away.
An incestuous blob. And a big part in politics, they have nonprofits and NGOs, non-governmental organizations. And those get a bunch of money from the government and the megacorpos. So those are like the little fascistic point where the government's like, well, legally, constitutionally, we can't get away with this. So we're just going to give you money and you get away with it. Similar to how they have like big tech and like business do their dirty work of censorship for them because they're not allowed to. So a big problem, that's where you got like the George Soroses and the Bill Gateses and stuff like that. They have a lot of their influence through nonprofits and NGOs. And they're not the whole darn pyramid. They're not to blame for everything. They're not causing it all. They're just part of that giant, New World conspiracy.
Understood. But I understand why people are calling them out because they're an actual target that you can point to.
Yeah, but call them out correctly or else all the Kotakus attack you for the one thing you're fucking up and then ignore all the other stuff. And this is just supposed to be a gateway to people realizing the bigger problem. And by realizing we gave them a little too much credit, it helps us realize that bigger problem. But a lot of people don't want to admit they were wrong. I love admitting that I'm wrong personally. Allegedly.
I don't know. They think you might have been corrupted. He's just quantifying that they're a problem, but they're not the main problem. And I understand.
The problem isn't even the woke crazy companies. The problem is the woke mind virus. And then where does that woke mind virus come from? That's the problem. Save all your anger and passion that goes overboard against these crazy weak. I feel like the more I read about Gamergate stuff, we are punching down on these people. Like Kotaku, we are punching down right now. So save your crazy passion and nerd rage for the Gateses, the Clintons, the Klauses, and whatnot.
Yeah, no, it's
there's
the
much
whiskey
bigger
Echo Foxtrot.
Much bigger things than just this, but it's so much easier to get people involved with this stuff through culture, and video games is the most popular part of culture. Yeah. So
we just talked about all the video game adaptations that they're going to use.
Let's get this right. Oh yeah, exactly. And you think all the gamers are sexist? That's the thing too. Is that originally it was all the Gamergate stuff was the gamers are sexist, but by now it's the gamers are all the ists and phobes possible. And all of these people from Gamergate, they didn't go away. That's why this is still Gamergate 2. They all just moved on. And the whole thing is, I say this is Gamergate 2, but all the people have changed genders.
Yeah, and it's important to keep note of the names of these people because, as was mentioned earlier, they will just go and they will go to other companies. They will fail upwards and lateral. They never go away. So just remember the Kim Belairs, remember the Chris Kindreds, so that when we see them again, we go infiltrator. I've got Kim Belair, the CEO of Sweet Baby. I've got her on a feminist frequency show, which is Anita Sarkeesian's, which that's one of the things in the very beginning of call all gamers sexist. So, and also, Elon Musk had a great saying about this when people think you're far right. Well, when you're so batshit insane left that anyone that just thinks that sanity is sanity, everyone is far right of that. So congratulations. If you think there's two genders, you're far right.
It's the Overton window has shifted so far.
Insane.
The center is considered far right at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I want the poster of Darwin and the Beaver, Gamergate 2, the misgendering.
Do it, please. Do it. So, it's a bigger problem. Sweet Baby Inc., yes, good call, good catch. And it's a great way to wake up all the gamers. But this goes a lot deeper. They don't do as much as they say, I don't think. Because, it's their website. You got to sound like you're good and whatnot. But the problem is because Sweet Baby Inc., the call is coming from inside that house. These studios already have all these people working for them. These guys just come in to make sure all the race swaps and such are done correctly. Because this is the people who think you have to look like the character you're voicing in an animation.
This part, too. Yes, they thought we would just accept it. They thought we wouldn't notice it, but we did. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and
this is like coming from the Lord of the Rings fans. They didn't let it stand. They ratioed everything. Gamers are going to ratio it too. We're not like normie movie fans that just let it happen. No offense, normies.
If they kept it in indie games, all of this would be fine. In Hollywood, they moved it into the mainstream, which is supposed to be for the widest audience possible. Instead, they're making it for no one, and it's failing. He said
widest, not widest. Widest audience.
But widest audience would be also widest.
Probably accurate, just be population numbers.
Yeah, we're not talking statistics. We're talking narrative. Whatever your story needs, we're here to help. We tackle narrative and character in any form, keeping emotional resonance and authenticity at the heart of our work. That, Authenticity. That's what these crazies do. These guys put the check mark on the race swap, saying, now, have they also caused some of that stuff? Probably. I think they are being a bit too defensive, and now they're like, we didn't do nothing. Where it's like, okay, I think we're giving them too much credit, but I don't believe their we didn't do nothing situation.
I don't know why they're not doubling down. They should be very proud of their influence.
I know, instead of hiding. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And it's the Streisand effect, which I got directly when Weird Ghost shut their website down because of me. I didn't just get caught up in like a bigger Streisand effect. I had it done directly to me. And I'm like, well, I feel like there's something you're hiding now, and I kind of need to find out. And then through that, I'm now a games journalist. Authenticity. We do story pitches. So story pitches. Building character or world building and character creation.
I think you're a bully.
This is the sort of reason why people thought that they were having such a big impact. But it seems more like they usually do story feedback and tweaks and more.
Character creation.
So if they're putting story pitches and all in world building and character creation and all that stuff, they've had to have an effect on something. But I think generally, and a lot of people from the companies that they work for, like Rocksteady, the person doing the new Wolverine, like came out in defense of them. And we're like, oh, they did a great job. We loved working with them and all that stuff. Because the call came from inside the house. It wasn't Sweet Baby Inc. It was an inside job.
Yeah. And then that leak with the Wolverine game, they're going to have entire story segments where you're playing as Jean Grey. So get ready to stop in the middle of your Wolverine game to play as Jean Grey.
Just shut up now before I yell at something. We believe that representation is key to connecting players and audience. This whole thing is we're a bunch of creepy weirdos and we want everything to look like us, or else we are marginalized players. And their approach leads with the creation of joy. This is a weird thing that they do. The transmissions, they have their transmission joy, which is super creepy. But if you notice, the Kotaku writer, the editor for the hit piece, before she privated, she took a picture and was like, they hate me because I'm happy. So they've got this like weird obsession with joy, and I think it's because they're all crazy depressed people. So this like far off idea of happiness and joy that we get to have, we're lucky enough to have, even though we're told we're the angry toxic people, they are obsessed with the creation of joy and safe spaces. Because if they just had that, then everything would be right. No, you are broken and also occasionally stupid. But some of them are smart. Apparently Zoe Quinn actually is like talented, and her game doesn't show it. But apparently some of these people are smart and talented. They just got the woke mind virus. They got the woke mind virus.
Oh, I would believe that there's a bunch of talented, from actors onto this, that if you just gave them something good to work with, they'd be very talented and they could do the thing, but they're so captured by what they feel they have to do that here we go. And yeah, turns out when you say a bunch of edgy shit that no one in reality actually agrees with, you need a lot of safe spaces to retreat to. And this is no different than that DEI video about the WB executive. They're talking to each other in their little echo chamber, and self-care is said 7 times.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're all a bunch of depressed narcissists, crazy depressed narcissists. So they're obsessed with this like mythical land of joy, when it's just like, bro, you just got to change your own mind.
The exact same thing. Like being like it, and Miles too for the first one. Stop playing Spider-Man and go play as a marginalized character. Shout out Joker's Disciple, $5.
Yeah.
Maybe we need lists of companies who use wokeness and ratings on how woke a game is, a rating system to see if we should spend our money or not.
I'm a games journalist now. I could have the score, and then I could have the wokeness rating.
I think it would be great.
That's genius.
Yeah. Curator list for Nerd Wars.
You're hired, jokers. Oh my god. And we're gonna talk about, you guys want to be games journalists too? I'll show you how. I accidentally exited out of the tab, but remind me.
We can all do it simply by staying on point, calling them out, not letting it get more than what it is, calling them out for everything they've done, but that it's a larger problem that we need to stop accepting. that these ideologies cannot be allowed, and it is psychology is all it's there. We know how they're doing it.
My favorite part about this all is a lot of people, especially the ones on the fence, but also even the ones that have bought in a little bit to the craziness, is they don't realize the problem until it affects them. And now that it's making its way into AAA games and they're being terrible and no one plays them, like you spend $70 on a game and then bam, there's no one in the servers like a week later, Suicide Squad style. You're just like wasting money. You're losing out on money, and then your heroes are being destroyed. You got cringy Harley Quinn. You got pride flags above everything.
Do we need to wear tinfoil hats?
You don't have to, but you can buy them. You can buy them at my store.
I should probably. We're gonna
handcrafted. Handcrafted, $29.99 US.
Please, dear God, sell grifting and just have it be actual foil. Everyone would buy one. I think everyone would buy the one.
I have 2 lines, so you can actually get it, and you can get it in more crumpled for that nice textured feel.
Hello,
or
you can R&D.
You can get a fresher one. Lady, holy snap! Liking that profile pic. That gets
very. That's why I saluted. I'm feeling very patriotic.
We're just yelling about Gamergate.
I think really we all need handcrafted foil hats with NW on the side of them. Grogu, baby Grogu ears sold separately.
Oh, dude. Disney's lawyers will be all over my ass. All right, so let's get back.
Several lawyers after us.
Let's get back to business. I'd like to keep this 2 hours. It's not going to be 2 hours, but we're going to attempt. I do have a video coming out later, so the later we run, the later that's coming out. They seek to be additive rather than strictly corrective. Seeks to be. So I think they say that because a lot of times these companies would hire them to come in at the end to be corrective, to make sure, literally one of the things I saw was, oh, they're from this place. How would they say this? Oh, they wouldn't say they're R's. No, they took an R off. They did a soft R instead of a hard R. And it's like,
no, you never do the hard R.
The way we do it here, we emphasize the R. So they would say it with an R at the end. That's what they're saying is what they come in to do. And honestly, the amount of people that have said it, I mostly believe them. The problem is they stick that at the very end where they talk about all this stuff they can do that makes us think they're the ones behind all like the race swap and whatnot.
But this is just very mostly horribleness.
Yeah, actually, here we go. So mostly they seem to do cultural consultation, sensitivity and inclusivity reading, risk and opportunities assessment. Risk is a big thing. Like Gary always talks about how they're afraid of risk. And then impact is another one. Weird Ghost is an impact fund. And I'm like, that sounds like so commie. And yeah, it's a social justice like business.
And an inclusivity sensitivity reading is fucking CRT. It's them sitting there. Well, let's look at this as the eyes of anyone other but a whitey, and that's explain to you why you're horrible.
That I believe is what they are actually doing.
Yeah,
they say they do the other stuff. They say they do the other stuff, but I think they mostly are doing this.
I think we
just got to get it right.
Deep, I think they go as deep as they are allowed. As deep as they are allowed.
It's how early they get in, which is why she was talking at the conference about how, they need to get us in sooner. Have you seen going around the Anita Sarkeesian strong-arming CD Projekt Red over Cyberpunk?
Her specifically talking? Because I've seen Cyberpunk, the actual people talking about it, but I have not seen her talking to them about it. Cyberpunk as a whole, while you look this up, has been saying the quiet part out loud. They've just been saying, oh yeah, we're doing all of this diversity and sustainability. We're doing it just because of our investors through polls have told it. And they're just saying they're doing it for the investor money, not because they actually care. And then you go look at the writers for CD Projekt Red. Guess what? They all look like this. There's not a melanated group in the entire group over there.
Yeah, because they're like Swedish or whatever.
Right. Oh, gee, it's almost like in somewhere the cultures have stayed the same. Yeah, they're only doing it for Zamani. And this is what it turns up. They come in and they teach you all these people about you're all colonizers. Y'all colonizers, and we need representation, 50-50. It's very mask off, Valiant. That's the point. It's like, oh, they're so either naive or they think they're doing good. Well, a lot of them think they're doing good. That's the point. That, they're just saying it.
So
sustainability. That's what you kept saying to look out for.
it's the NGOs and stuff that do it, like the Sweet Babies. Sometimes, like with CD Projekt Red, it's the ESG stuff. But the whole reason any of those two happen is because the company is already woke, because the woke mind virus got them. So that's what I'm saying. We need to focus more on the woke mind virus that is throughout the industry, while also piling on Sweet Baby Inc., because it's the great way to get it in and show people just how far this has come. Because unlike the first Gamergate, that was mostly like indie games and stuff like that where the problems were. Now the whole problem is it's all mainstream. So that's why Sweet Baby Inc.'s great, but we need people to realize that all these mega corpos are woke as fuck because the woke mind virus. And then we need to look at what's behind the woke mind virus, because it's about to try to start World War III or destroy the economy or put chips in our brain and all sorts of fun stuff. While also dunking on Sweet Baby Inc. It's all of the above. And us for letting it happen are also to blame.
Yeah, and this is also true too. A lot of the people, because it's not that our liberal friends, and I would just say it's normie friends, are ignorant. It's that they know so much that isn't true. Yeah, the amount of people that know with certainty facts that aren't true is astounding. And I will use my own Uncle Badger as an example of this, who, oh, there's no such thing as woke. Disney's doing fine. And then when my proudly father was like, because he actually watches my videos, pointed some things out, my uncle looked it up. He had to concede that everything he just said was a fucking lie. That he
I almost used the F word.
I did. Because if you tell a lie long enough and people hear a lie long enough, they start believing it's true. And that's what a lot of this is. They've just heard a lie long enough and they think it's true.
For a modern gaming audience.
Modern gaming audience, yes.
Man, we got some comments today and some views today.
Idiots.
I think I might be keeping this one up. So, back to this. So, they also, I think, still do some indie stuff. I mean, let's just look at what that is. We can tackle development projects big and small, whether you're making blah, blah, blah. We can assemble and lead an amazing team of new and marginalized voices. So I'm saying some of these teams are woke. Now, they might also be some of the people helping to get these crazies hired into the company, which then wokeifies it, turns it crazy, and then they hire Sweet Baby Inc. back. So full-scale game development.
Illegal.
That's the sort of reason why we thought they had such a big influence. But then we look in interactive fiction, and that's because, like, Depression Quest from Zoe Quinn they're not games, they're interactive fiction. So they're like, we do full-scale game development as long as it's for a hentai light novel. So I understand why everyone thought these people were the ones ruining everything. I'm here to tell you the call was coming from inside the house.
Yeah, but they're like DEI Forrest Gump. They've had a hand in all these major events. They may not have been the main focus of those events, but for some reason, every day we look, they're the
nonprofit. They're the nonprofit role. Right. But then we've got the crazy megacorpo role. Then we got the government role, which is where we get all the SDG, DEI, ESG crap. It's all of it. And then also, if we're passing blame around, don't forget to always pass it to yourself. We are the ones who let this happen. We tried in Gamergate and we failed. So this one, let's get this shit right and let's put Kotaku out of business in 2024.
I mean,
and replace
all the other ones we've just seen go out of business. I don't think that's an unachievable objective.
The Mary Sue got in this too. So Kotaku and Mary Sue.
Let's get them out too. Yeah.
2024, and then replace them with us. As disgusted as I am to be a games journalist now, I always talk about how we got to replace these people, and I'm all about. I see crap, and I'm like, I can do it better. Then I do it better. I don't just talk. I do. So as disgusted as I am, if I want to get rid of the Kotakus,
Bro, we're not even.
I have to
agree yet.
This is like a Justice League or like comic book story where I have to like embrace the evil so I can defeat the evil. Now, and I have to hope I don't lose myself in the process. Like
it's
Batman
literally
style.
The Dark Empire Star Wars you're reading, where Luke goes to the dark side to serve the Emperor to see what it was like, so he could fight him from the inside. Yeah,
exactly.
You go into the dock, and we will be out here with the spotlights trying to keep you from fully succumbing. No. You're seeing it.
We're at
it's
111. I'm gonna get back to talking. Pull up some of these comments. I freaking love you guys. 111. The channel is
journalisming.
Channel is no longer dead, thanks to Lady Aaron D. Yes.
Oh yeah. It's almost like you had to build an audience since you switched to streaming.
Also, Sweet Baby Inc.
That's not how you spell there.
They saved the channel. We do shame for incorrect use of there. I fully approve of that.
It's all right.
British.
No.
Yeah, see, now that's what Sweet Baby Inc. comes in. They say, you're not saying British correctly. It's actually British. That's what they come in for. Oh, lordy. Gifted a membership to our homie Westward Smile. Love to see it. You love to see it. Get them grays out of here. Alex Darby's been doing his best. We still got some. Gunho Mac, that is weird seeing your name not in green. We're going to need to get that fixed. Until then, we're going to talk about the difference between games writer and narrative designer. This is when I first realized that, they are right with all their cope, but they think they got us, but the reason they got us was because they're like, everything is wrong with the industry. It's all crap. And
well, it's not all great.
Maybe, but then they're all like, we didn't do nothing. I'm like, I feel like you did more than that. I vaguely remember reading things saying you did more than that. So when you go down the rabbit hole, I've been down many a rabbit hole, which is why I came over to cultural side to come down some cultural rabbit holes with my rabbit hole.
You've been down rabbit holes?
Experience. Yeah. Who would have guessed the guy with two tinfoil hats has been down some rabbit holes?
The thought, yeah.
Let me get my rabbit hole sunglasses on top here to go with my real Star Wars fan.
Got super chat from Breezy's Comics and Collectibles 199.
Oh, yeah.
Love what you are doing. 199. Hail the 199. Hail the Fellowship. Hail the Bigot Army, and hail the Badger Legion. And hail what are we calling ourselves? Nerd Runners?
Whoa! You added some stuff to that, sir. You need to super chat the channel right now to make up for all that extra super chat.
You're right. Maybe I will. I will. Y'all
are nerd runners because Jay pronounces Nerd Wars differently every time he reads it. So back to what we were talking about before Breezy's rudely interrupted with their wonderful $1.99 that we appreciate so much.
You guys really want me to call it Damnation and not the Badger Legend?
Yes. You don't have a choice. It's already being called that. Chat is taken.
Because John and Creativity's Avengers say it. But
what is the difference between a games writer and narrative designer? On a game team, a writer is someone who writes all the words that are in the game, the things characters say, the names of places and items, the words in the menu, etc., etc. Oftentimes, the writers will be involved with a larger team to also determine the overall story, world, and characters of the game. Like world building, like the thing you said you guys do. But I think they do it. They're just not getting hired to do that. They're getting hired for the wokeness, like, check mark. A narrative designer is someone whose job is to figure out how the story is told in the game. This is where it gets kind of weird. If we want the player to be afraid in this level, do we have the characters say they're afraid? Do we want scary music? Do we make the light in the level flicker? Which that doesn't really sound like, did they turn the Alan Wake 2 girl into a black girl?
And made her 50%. It's the greater thing that I also believe they had a hand in making it 100% 50-50 split between Alan and Saga.
Well, that's what I'm saying is they may have been like, yeah, that is good, but they, I think, come in after that's already been done. These guys come in at the end. They do work where they can come in at the beginning, but I think that's mostly for like indie games and stuff.
Yeah, but it's like saying, I didn't really beat him up. I just came when the body was already on the ground and I stomped on his head a couple times, but I'm not the one that did the majority of the damage. It's like, right, but you finished him off and you arguably left it worse. Maybe it would have survived. Maybe Alan Wake, even though it would have been intersectionalist and feminist, with just even a white Saga, I might have liked because I want to play as Alan Wake, not another character.
No, I got to stop you.
Double down.
What I am saying is if Sweet Baby Inc. didn't work on Alan Wake 2, it would have ended up being basically the exact same thing. That is what I'm trying to say.
That's your opinion, correct?
No, it's not my opinion. This is what I'm saying. I've been doing nothing but looking this. Oh my God, I'm a games journalist now. That is what I'm saying. This is me taking what they've said on their Twitters, on their websites and whatnot. This page right here isn't even on their like normal page. I think it's like or it's kind of hidden behind some stuff. So I've actually done some digging to find this. I didn't find this on my own. Someone else I had found this one. So I get everyone wants to be passionate and blame everything on Sweet Baby. And then when you're like, no, it's a bigger thing. They're like, you're calling me a liar? I'm not wrong. You're wrong. No, you're right. But these people are a bunch of fakes and we have to get around what's actually happening because you can't just trust what they're saying. And on their on their tweets, they're saying we didn't do nothing. On their website, they're saying we did all of it. But then on like the GDC interview, she's all like, they just put us in at the end. You need to bring us in sooner, you evil racists.
So how would you reframe this entire thing?
So you kind of brought it up. They are like the goons.
Right.
That go do the blam, blam, blam. But it's like you really want the mob boss. And the mob boss is like the UN. But really, it's not even that's the whole problem. It's the whole mob organization that is the problem. So some people are just looking at the goon and saying, that's the problem with everything. And it's like, no, that's all I'm saying. No. We're right to highlight the goon. The problem is the bigger organization and the person at the top of the organization, as well as who is funding the whole mob and who created the mob to begin with, which is all the crazy billionaire social engineers, the ones that used to come from the Rockefeller types, the money men, the oil men, the monopoly men.
Oh, no.
I've
said this goes down to Occupy Wall Street, where they almost got. And then they put pride flags on everything, too.
That was some leftist crap. It was doomed to fail because of that. So all those people created the NGOs and nonprofits. And also the Rockefellers, the UN, played a big role in that. And that's where all this comes from. But then you can't just blame like the SDGs at the UN, which, yeah, we're doing too much talk in 1 second. You got to blame the people behind it. And then obviously they're gone now, the Carnegies and all that stuff. But now they were the billionaires that came out of the Industrial Revolution. Now we got big tech that came out of the digital revolution. And now they're the new ones who are all, we got to save the world by taxing you for exhaling.
No, which is all social.
That's all social engineering. And
right, but they don't have names or faces. The UN is the UN, and the Whiskey Echo Foxtrot is the Whiskey Echo Foxtrot. These are people with names and faces. Now, it's true we shouldn't call them for everything, but there's no other target. You know
there's lots of targets.
But how would we viably attack them? I can take a goon all day. I can't go stroll up
by not buying their stuff, which is what's happening.
What does that look like? Yeah,
that's what's happening with Suicide Squad.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's definitely a part of it. But while not buying it, you're saying, you know what I'm saying? It's like Sweet Baby Inc. is going to get talked about no matter what.
Other people don't like this seem to just be like purposely misunderstanding it. Sweet Baby Inc. is a problem. I have covered them, and I've said the same thing you guys are saying, but I'm saying now that this has come out, we've learned more about them. And I'm saying we didn't have it exactly correct. And we got to stop blaming them for everything, because they're not to blame for everything. And when we blame them for everything, Kotaku comes out and says we created some crazy conspiracy and then puts all of it to rest because we fudged up on this one thing. But I understand why we fudged up on this one thing, because all this research is hard and a lot of this stuff didn't come to light until this whole new thing. But a lot of more mainstream people who haven't been down rabbit holes find it, and then they blame Sweet Baby Inc. for everything. They blame BlackRock for everything. They blame ESG for everything. And I'm saying it's all of them to blame. We got to look at all of it. It's certain people want to blame the people with the silly little hats for everything. And it's just like they find one little piece of the puzzle and they put it down. They say, I finished the puzzle, guys. No. We got to look at the whole darn puzzle. If you're all just obsessed and blame everything on one puzzle piece, then Kotaku comes out and rightly in some ways calls us out for not accurately seeing the whole picture.
Right, and there will always be people that do that, no matter how much nuance we point out.
I was saying all this stuff too, and I am actually capable of admitting I'm wrong. I love being wrong, because now I've gone even farther, and then by us being wrong, all the Kotakus and stuff called us out. They basically said, guys, it's not just Sweet Baby Inc. It's the whole industry that's screwed up here.
No, by the way, I understand his point very well. My point is that even if
so look,
Sweet Baby Inc. was for fine Saga. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're already doing what we're doing. We're not buying the games. We're calling them out. Even if it's a sprinkle or a shovel, they came in and they made an already corrupted bad product worse. And what I'm saying is there's no fucking other viable targets to talk about. So talk about them correctly, 100%.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Let's be accurate.
But what I'm also saying is I think everyone here more or less was, with, I guess, myself for blaming them for race swapping Saga. But other than that, I think everyone was correctly pointing them out
all of the
for
things
what they were doing.
They claimed all that stuff they didn't have anything to do with. The God of War, the Spider-Man 2 stuff, they've specifically called out those things.
So what the fuck did they do? And why did they have it referenced?
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I don't believe what they're saying.
They come at the end and they say, "Oh, if you've seen the black girl deaf black girl spray paint, she's like, she's got normal face, and then when she spray paints, she's like, and she looks all crazy and whatnot." So they came in to say, "Hey, her hair, you guys only have it coming out to here. You need to have her afro come out to here."
No, well,
that is what they are for.
But what Erwin is saying, since he's saying he dug deep, is that they didn't write side stories or quests. They came in and helped refine side stories and quests. They took already race swap characters and just added a little spice to try to make them more fully developed, but they still sucked.
But that's the thing. They do narrative design and writing. Like Kim Belair says she's a writer and also does narrative design. So that's what I'm saying is there's two separate things. So some stuff they come in and they don't do it. Some stuff they come in and it does seem like they are, but we don't know what it is. What they did
sounds
for
like that's
what,
exactly what they fucking want. The ability to be like, well, if you liked it, we had a hand in it. If we didn't, we didn't have a hand in it. It sounds like a fucking cop out on their end, and I really don't believe anything they say. I trust your deep diving. I just don't believe what they fucking say. I think they're all corrupted, and they say whatever they can to get out of any more blame and hate. Even if how old are these things?
See, that's the sort of stuff I keep hearing.
I can't tell if it was edited.
See, and I don't like this stuff. I've seen this stuff too many times going down rabbit holes, and people don't like to admit they're wrong. The thing is, we're working with incomplete information, and with the incomplete information we had, we were pretty spot on. Now we need to adjust. Now, I think they probably did have some effect on those big things, but they all are claiming they did not, and the companies they work with have come out and have talked about how they didn't do these things.
Well, they certainly wouldn't lie to us.
But when you look at the other things they've said, they complain that people just bring them in at the end to be corrective when they want to be additive. So I think they have. I think they have been additive in some games, but a lot of them they just come at the end to be that woke cherry on top. And I'm saying let's look at the whole fucking woke Sunday. And I'm not calling anyone out and whatnot, but we were a little bit wrong about that cherry on top. We thought it was the whipped cream and the cherry. But
I guess what
it seems to just be the cherry.
Now that we've refined it, that it's just the cherry, the end result is the fucking same. We're calling them out. We're not buying their product.
That's the whole point.
It's part of a larger problem.
You know that it's going to be woke and it's a crazy company if they hire them. So Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, they're not even, just in general, isn't like, oh, they ruined the game. It's this game is involved with Sweet Baby Inc.
Right.
So be warned. So it's a company that would hire Sweet Baby Inc. is already making the game that Sweet Baby Inc. would have them make. Now they probably had some input.
The inclusion. The inclusion standards for studios are how you know it's like the Sweet Baby Inc. version. It's just built in.
And these companies have it built in through HR departments and DEI, which comes and that stuff comes from the government too. A lot of that, like if you're in California and whatnot, where I assume a lot of the companies are, the law enforces it. So, you guys don't have to be like so defensive. Like, I just want you guys to be correct, so that way we can fucking crush these people, and Kotaku doesn't make it through 2024.
Erwin's not a shill. He hasn't drank the Kool-Aid, or he's just asking for nuance, and he doesn't want us to fall into the traps that happened last time where they will accuse us of shit that's not true.
I currently know more about the subject that I'm talking about than anyone else. Because it hasn't broken yet. Eventually someone will know more than me. But, and that's my whole thing, is I've seen enough cults of personalities to understand the fallacies that keep people in them and keep people not wanting to admit they're wrong about stuff. And like, I've got books about like aliens and past lives and stuff down there. I've been down all the rabbit holes. And eventually after a while, you learn a thing or two. And I'm just saying, when you find something too easy, it's usually, I'm falling all apart. You're usually wrong. When I have my dad is like, oh, I heard about this crazy conspiracy thing happening. Then that's when I'm like, oh, okay, we're probably wrong about that. Or when like AT&T goes down and everyone's like, I blame China. And I'm like, I love seeing that. Like all of conservative Twitter is like, I blame China and all this. Or like the Super Tuesday, I blame China. And when I hear that and it's too easy, my thought is, I bet it wasn't China. I bet it was our own government.
No,
when things are too easy, like let's blame everything on Sweet Baby Inc., you're usually a bit wrong.
I agree. And it's also, and It really sort of comes down to whether you just opinion or not. Yeah,
it happens when this stuff
no
goes
matter
mainstream.
how much nuance and how much, if everything you just said, that we all took it that way, if we just pointed out it's just the cherry on top, they would still paint us in a non-nuanced light and that we're blaming everything on them. They would still do the same thing, and they have no relevance.
She went in about Kotaku. She went in their Discord and tried to get him to interview him, and they're all like,
"No one would talk to her."
Yeah, and they banned her.
She didn't even hide her name, but it's not.
It says she was with Kotaku. Yeah,
it's not the same as Gamergate, and the same that they don't have the same power and.
Oh no, it's the exact same as Gamergate, but this time they have no power and they're different.
That's what I meant. It's not that they don't have any power. Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. It's one thing that has changed from the last time.
All right, let's get into my big scoop. So to understand it, you have to understand Zoe Quinn and her 5 guys. So her ex realized she was insane and manipulated the crap out of him, and that she had cheated on him with 5 guys. So this was around the time of, all gamers are sexist. And then Zoe Quinn had this game called Depression Quest that was really bad, and somehow it got onto Steam Greenlight, which back in the day,
Depression Quest?
Yeah, Steam didn't let everything on. You actually had to try if you were a tiny game. And so people were like, why is her game getting on there? It's not even a game. There's got to be some actual games that could be on there instead. So then she was all, I'm under attack, being harassed by this Chan. Look, I used my hacker girl skills on them. This was who did it. But then it turned out it was all a lie. And that was the whole, Zoe Quinn's being attacked for Depression Quest and whatnot. Then we have the 5 guys. That's when we find out also she was fudging one of the Kotaku guys, which comes up later. Comes up later in Gamergate 2. So this was when they were vindicated. All the people who were tired of all the Anita Sarkeesian feminist frequency, all gamers are sexist crowd. They're like, wow, this is it. This is an incestuous ball. They're sleeping around for reviews and all this stuff, which of course, just like with Hollywood and politics, these people are access media. So, 25, do you think boycotting woke games is a good strategy? If so, do I cut games like Final Fantasy Rebirth? Well, my stance on this is, if it's woke and crap, don't give it a penny. If it's woke and good, make your own choice. Because also, we have to be checking this stuff out too, because if we put our head in the sand, it's like the people who say,
what's woke and good?
Don't go to the movies. And, well, it's just like how you haven't seen Arcane. You haven't seen Arcane because blue and pink hair. Sometimes there is some good stuff. Or sometimes it's the opposite. Some people tell me to watch Blue Eye Samurai and I have to stop because I can't take the girl power anymore. So my stance is, if you really want it, get it. Oftentimes you'll be disappointed and you'll learn your lesson. I did that with Destiny. I did that with Diablo 4. So eventually you end up just not giving them any money as it is. But also we got to stop with the whole purity test crap. I love my whole graph web hashtag cancel Disney Plus and whatnot. I get it. But when it comes to certain hobbies and whatnot, and people say, you saw this movie, you're giving them money, you're funding it, you're the worst. It's like, no, stop with the purity test.
Yeah, I just admit I'm a hypocrite. I say don't give them money, but if it's something you really care about, like the Star Wars Battlefront
how much money
out or something.
How much money have you given Amazon in the last month? Because that's if you want to start doing purity test,
your phone.
If you want to pass it,
it's all of it.
If you want to pass the purity test, you have to go live out the woods, away from everyone, not seeing anyone.
Yeah,
if you want to pass
just admit you're a hypocrite and to try to minimize it where you can. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then that is kind of what's happening with the you don't believe me about Sweet Baby, when I'm just like, guys,
I believe you. I don't believe them. That specific company. Kim Blair is a fucking liar that hates white people. I believe she lies to help cover herself. Yes, I do believe that. I'm not giving that a green light to not believe everyone. I'm saying I don't believe Kim Blair, one specific person.
Yeah, but just because she's crazy and says she has all this effect doesn't mean it literally happened.
Fair.
And they're saying she came in and just ruined everything. All the woke decisions were all them coming in and ruining everything. I'm here to tell you that does not seem to be the case. The call is coming from inside the woke house. And the more you look into all of the incestuous relationship, such as with 5 guys, that's when you realize you don't need that conspiracy when it's a giant woke hive mind.
Yeah.
So
takes care of that itself.
Zoe Quinn is a giant manipulative lying whore. This was a lot of 2010, 2012, and 2014 were the big years. And then after that, we got the Gamergate expansion packs. And then came 2019. Night in the Woods studio cuts ties with the designer after abuse allegations. Indie developer Zoe Quinn alleges assault and abuse from developer Alec Holoka. Polygon and all of them, Kotaku's all of them, they ran this. Alec Holoka is the evilest man ever. Now he gets fired from his own studio he helped create. Can't work in games again because Zoe Quinn's allegations, which we had learned from her ex, she was crazy manipulative as fuck, and through all the Gamergate stuff, learned that she had kept totally fabricating things. So this comes out when like 5 other whammons are coming out. Super suspicious, and at this point, no one seems to believe Zoe Quinn.
Coincidence.
Ruins a man's life who they knew was depressed, because Night in the Woods is all about that stuff. And of course, she made Depression Quest. Night in the Woods co-creator Alec Holoka has died. So the game's media destroyed this man's name. He Minecrafted himself, and instead of putting what actually happened, that Zoe Quinn and games journalists got this man to Minecraft himself when they knew he had mental health problems, instead of writing that, it's Alec Holoka has passed away, sadly. Night in the Woods Studio severed ties with co-founder on Wednesday. So not even in the byline do they tell you what actually happened. So they freaking killed a man, allegedly, hid it, took their blame away from themselves, which might be somewhat, they might be doing some take blame away from themselves on Sweet Baby Inc. But I don't think completely. And then they blamed all the Gamergate people investigating these crazies for why Alec did it. Not Zoe Quinn, not Polygon, all the people reporting on all this games journalism incestuous blob. They were the ones that did it. So they were already using Gamergate as a straw man term, similar to, white supreme pizza and all that stuff they call like conservatives. Chud and whatnot, is like one of the new ones. The Gamergate was hiding behind every corner, behind every rock, just waiting to jump out and get games journalists. And then it was this 2019, then brought it back again. Until this day, they are blaming every little bit of criticism against them or games on Gamergate still. When they are the ones with blood on their hands. So here's what I accidentally stumbled into. Weird Ghost. I found through Chris Kindred's LinkedIn, Weird Ghost had given a grant to Sweet Baby Inc. and other super woke game devs. Mostly, so indie devs, mostly from Canada. So I come on here and I just find all this, like, they, them, they, she, queer and disabled white settler living on territory or Treaty 1 territory in Winnipeg, queer white settler community arts advocate, and all this stuff. I just wanted to make fun of that. There's another page I also wanted to make fun of. It's at this one. Yeah, these facilitators over here. I also wanted to make fun of them. All I wanted to do. So I posted some of this stuff. I checked out where they actually get it. Yeah, introducing cohort 3. This is showing that Baby Ghost, which is the nonprofit part of Weird Ghost, where Weird Ghost does actual funding, actual for-profit funding. They also
colonizers
do grants.
Are a real problem.
So Sweet Baby Inc., Montreal-based self-funded narrative development. That's another thing. People are saying that they're getting, Sweet Baby Inc.'s getting BlackRock money, which, no, these people are so small, they're not getting BlackRock money. All these indie devs and whatnot. Now, the big companies, they might be getting some BlackRock money, but that's just through, they're like they get money from BlackRock, or rather BlackRock owns them. And then there are ways to, like ESG and all the CD Projekt Red, they are probably getting money from some of those crazy big groups. But someone like a Sweet Baby, no. And that's all I'm saying is we just got to not go overboard with accusations and keep it real. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So narrative development and consultation studio. So they make it sound like they are developing the narrative. They are the ones doing it all. And in some cases, they probably are. But it seems to be in most cases, they come in at the end and they're annoyed by that. They want to come in sooner so they can do it even more. But I'm saying even without them at all coming in sooner or later, with all these crazy woke companies, it would probably just end up being the same. They just might not add an R after one of the things they say when they should. prides itself on helping marginalized talent break into the industry. That's what I'm saying is we need to focus more on, they might be some of the ones getting the crazy woke people hired at these companies. And with Gamergate, the incestuous relationship between all these crazies, there's probably quite a bit of nepotism and such going on. And now it's like crazy woke LGBTQ LMNOP nepotism and stuff going on. Very tribal and what have you. And they're trying to create the next generation of narrative developers. Like I said,
for a modern gaming audience.
That dude is narrative with Bethesda, which is part of, I believe, Xbox Game Studios now, which has Sweet Baby. So I'm not saying Sweet Baby doesn't need to come in to wokeify Indiana Jones. They already have that guy there. But that white guy, he doesn't have the cultural sensitivity as to some of the tribes they're going to see in the game. So that's when you bring Sweet Baby Inc. in to tell you if the tribal black people are doing what tribal black people would do. That's what I'm saying.
And then when they're doing that, they go, I also noticed that you have another character. Maybe you should race swap that character and give them a bigger story in the game.
Not if they come in at the end. But not if they come in at the end. If they come in at the beginning.
And they want mutually exclusive. Yes, for most of the time they want to come in sooner. Yeah, and they would love to make it even worse.
But they are
just cherry on top. Yes,
us stopping them will help keep them from getting in sooner, and they will stay the cherry on top. Of course, if they want to get in sooner, I believe that was from 2020, so they may have gotten in sooner. But according to the studios and them, that had nothing to do with what they were doing.
Right.
And from the other stuff I've learned, I think they are at least somewhat telling the truth. Do I believe we didn't do nothing? No. Do I believe that we blame Sweet Baby Inc. for ruining everything? Also no. And then if you say that, then it's, you're a never Trumper. You're out of the club. All right. So, okay. So I had posted a couple of pictures of this. Just wanted to make fun of the woke stuff. Hey, look at this company connected to Sweet Baby Inc. Look at all their stupid pronouns. I got a DM later about this Eileen Mary Holoka. You recognize that name, Holoka?
I've been seeing it in the chat. I see you in the chat.
I had to be told about this Gamergate connection and then found out Weird Ghost had taken the website down to where it just said one little bit of text, Weird Ghost. Baby Ghost was kept up, but they had actually removed the facilitators who I wanted to make fun of. It wasn't even until later until I realized they had removed that. So Eileen, the queer and disabled white settler living in Winnipeg, writer, game dev, community organizer, and advocate. Community organizer, just like the Saul Alinsky, Obama, Chicago gang types. With background in theater, games, poetry. I found a video with them doing poetry, and they talked about their brother dying, which is what this whole thing is about, Night in the Woods, developer Alec Holoka dying, and how the ghost and Weird Ghost and Baby Ghost, I think, is referring to Alec. Because Eileen, which I still don't know if it's a she or not. I'm not even trying to be rude. I mean, I want to be if I could be, but I still don't. Just like Chris Kindred, still not sure if Eileen is actually a man or woman. Goes by they, she. I still don't understand how that works. So had inherited Infinite Ammo, which was Alec Holoka's company, not the Night in the Woods company. That was the separate one he co-founded. So his actual company, Infinite Ammo, inherited. And then when you go down, it did say our sole investor is Infinite Ammo Inc. Now it's minority investor, which I think they just switched that because, some people might say, oh, conspiracy. I think the website was just old and they were updating it because now they do have more investors. But at the time, it said sole investor was Infinite Ammo Inc., which was Alec Holoka's company. Eileen, at the time, came out and was all, don't let the crazy alt-right use this against us. But, also, I support the Me Too victims of my brother, essentially. Went along with the fake Zoe Quinn allegations, it seems. Was also a bit of an apologist, like the games media saying, oh, he just passed away, guys. We didn't bully him into Minecrafting himself. So instead of being furious that these crazies lied about his or her brother and got him to Minecraft himself, instead was like, oh no, believe all women and such. Inherited his company after these crazies got him to Minecraft himself, and then now is using that money to fund Weird Ghost, which for profit funds small companies. in a somewhat noble-ish way, the seal thing, it's all about giving the studios like more money rather than all the venture capitalists coming in and sucking all the money dry. Somewhat noble, but everything these people do blows up on them. So probably going to blow up on them, and then they are going to be holding the bag because they don't take real profits until the company starts making real profits. That, I think, is why they remove this stuff, because these guys can't fail or else they're going to be out of money because of this probably too generous thing they're doing. I think they talk about it up here, like the way we fund or, grants or investment. Learn more about SEAL. It's all about, letting them keep more money instead of constantly taking money. So that way they can actually like live. Sounds noble and whatnot. Probably not going to
Sounds noble.
They're a bunch of crazy commies.
Right.
Who then took the Alakaloka blood money to fund this, who is now funding crazy woke devs and then also granting crazy woke devs money, which they partly get from Ontario taxpayers. And then the reason that minority investor now is that they've got Clever Endeavor, which is the ultimate chicken horse devs. They've got them, I think, are giving them the majority of the money now. So I stepped into a Gamergate rabbit hole and fell down hard. So we'd already known Lego Butts, who was part of all the like Anita Sarkeesian crowd, Silver String Media people of Gamergate. And then now we've got the Holoka, the more recent Holoka side of Gamergate connected to Sweet Baby Inc. And that's what I'm saying is it's not just Sweet Baby Inc. It's also companies like this. And then I found a bunch of other companies as well. What makes Sweet Baby Inc. so special, though, is they've gotten their claws into the major studios. I've heard people say that Sweet Baby Inc. is the successful Silver String Media. That is the problem. They got into the AAA games. Now, did they get in and full on just take over and wokeify everything? My thought is they came into something that was already pretty freaking woke, and they were the woke cherry on top. But through doing that, the more current ones, they may have played a bigger role, going from narrative design to writing to doing a little bit of both here and there. But
I do appreciate you saying that last part. I think they went up to the buffet table and went, ba, 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 and they just touched every item. Right, but the buffet table was already ruined to begin with. Like
they just did when I see Sydney Sweeney on SNL, they just went all over the place.
Did a little motorboat on everything and walked out the door very proud of what they've done.
Like a Gungan. So,
and then as soon as we get rid of them, another one will come in with a different moniker, like Black Girl Games or whatever the hell.
Speaking of Black Girl Games, that's another one of them.
Yeah.
So
I didn't just randomly say it.
One of the OGs in all of that.
Lady Aaron, apparently they didn't, and it wasn't Sweet Baby Inc. at all. It was 100% decision that was made that Remedy made, apparently. That is what I'm being told. And I'm agreeing, I guess.
Give me the evidence. Give me the evidence. Right. I would love to put it in the documentary. Please, I can't do this all on my own.
Yeah.
I'm saying the woke call came from inside the house.
Yeah, that is true. It's 100%.
But I don't believe we didn't do nothing with it. But that's the thing is we don't really understand how the game industry works and how even that there's writers and narrative designers. And that's what they're calling us out for. So I'm saying we've got to understand that better. Yeah. And by doing that, once you understand that better, you realize, I think they are somewhat telling the truth about not being the ones who did that swapping. A bunch of them, the people with the companies have come out and said that's not what they did.
Oh, here we go. The evidence is they hired a white voice actress for the white character. Yeah, that's what I think, because like I said, she was in Quantum Break and she was in the beginning part. The game's been in development for years. Well before Sweet Baby Inc. was even created, the game was in development. And when they came on, I think that they also had, and yes, they had ample time to do it. And also the fact that the new Saga, yes, she does look, but also whatever.
Yes.
The point is, it probably would have. I'm just saying they made it a little bit extra. I think Saga was always going to be a main character, but I don't think she was going to be 50-50. I think they're the ones that said, why don't you just make her a full character? Why don't you just race swap her to black so we can have some black reps? I do think that was and I guess maybe it's vibe, and I understand Nerdboy's point is that we can't just describe what we think. It has to be what we can prove, because that's how they got us the first time.
If they fired the white voice actress for the black actress, then that would probably, if they played a role, because as I discussed, they're all about helping people find the diverse and inclusive people to hire. So they could have had a role in that, but I'm saying if they did that, it was probably the studio, the DEI crazies in there already who wanted to do the changing. Because there's plenty of,
but I think it's
plenty of
guilty
this.
white people. That's what Remedy's a Nordic company too, almost. You know, Sam Lake called them.
There's plenty of companies who have nothing to do with Sweet Baby Inc. who also have the woke crap too. So if it's just Sweet Baby, then how does that happen?
I agree.
It's because these companies have already been infected by the woke mind virus.
Yeah, by the way, I understand your point. I don't know anyone that's saying what you're saying, though, that it's only Sweet Baby Inc. and they're the devil. I've heard the mainstream say that's what we're saying.
Get more views on a video.
Know the YouTubers who have been saying it.
That's not what I'm talking about.
I don't watch them. Or this.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the various things I see. And this has been going on for a while. Because people find one thing and then they blame everything on that one thing. And I'm like, blame all the things they were responsible for on that thing.
Yeah.
So Jenny Robinson Faber also was connected, was the CEO or something like that of Dames Making Games, because there was the whole push of, sexist gamers. But that was because they wanted to get more women into gaming, conveniently them into gaming. They did a lot of like game jams and stuff like that, which that sort of stuff is cool. I like that. And it's a good idea and gets funding for like indie devs and whatnot. But everything they do blows up. Like Zoe Quinn had some show that was like a game jam show and it all blew up because drama and stuff like that. So the other side was we need to get more women's into the industry. And the big one pushing that was Dames Making Games, DMG, which Jenny Robinson Faber was a big part of. So you also get that side of all the Gamergate stuff just in one company. And of course it blew up because of drama. Apparently Jenny was working for free for like a decade and kept asking for money and then it didn't work out.
A decade.
So what I'm saying is these sorts of people, they fail upwards and they failed into these companies, and then it's all incestuous. They're all about hiring their friends and stuff like that, using their 100%. Friends as sources. And that is what's happening, is an incestuous blob. I'm saying don't blame the little tumor sticking off the blob that is Sweet Baby Inc. for everything. They're to blame for all the blob, part of the blob they're connected to, but there's a much bigger incestuous blob here. Which is what I accidentally found with Weird Ghost and Baby Ghost. So, Grant and Accelerator. This is talking about how you can get money from them, which comes also from Gamma Space, which they partly get their money. Here's Gamma Space. They partly get their money from Ontario Crates, which is part of the Ontario government stealing tax dollars from Ontario taxpayers, I assume. But according to the Canadians I've spoken to, that's the other thing. I've got like inside sources and stuff. I've been down the rabbit hole and a half on this one. So you watch my documentary and maybe you'll believe me a little bit more.
Yeah, I think what we're missing here is...
This is what I pulled up out of my ass just randomly like
symptom,
15
not a
minutes
cause,
before. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And that's what Spencer tried to point out, and I know Hypno wasn't happy with him saying it, and you weren't happy with him saying it. I'm saying I've been down these rabbit holes.
Yes,
he's calling out something correctly, and I know it hurts to have to admit you're a little bit wrong about something, but we're working with
bleeding is a symptom of getting shot, and before you take out the bullet, you have to stop the bleeding, and then you can take out the bullet and sew it up. So that's what we're talking about. Very aware that they're but a cherry on top. But right now, the cherry has a name, and it's the only name we can accurately point to. Even though I don't think many of us are, I'm trying not to blame them for everything.
We don't. We have all those companies on the Sweet Baby Inc. page.
Yeah,
which is what names. Sweet Baby Inc. Detected did.
Right.
They are the problem. Sweet Baby Inc. is just getting money from the problem to be also more of a problem.
Right.
So, and then when everyone just hyper focuses on Sweet Baby, they start blaming Sweet Baby for stuff they didn't do. And then Kotaku writes articles about how we're dummies because in some ways we have been dummies because we're getting things wrong.
It's not apparently now it's not just BlackRock, right? There's many others. It's not, we can't just call BlackRock on the one.
See that right there. That's the other thing too, is everyone thinks BlackRock this, BlackRock that. And I feel partly responsible for all that. BlackRock's not part of everything. Also, a lot of all the ESG stuff and whatnot's dwindled down too. And obviously BlackRock's buying up shares in companies and not having influence over and whatnot. It's all because they don't have to do all that crazy conspiracy stuff because the woke mind virus has infected everyone and they're all connected into the Borg. And any developers are getting $5,000 financial support in the first 2 months. Then by stage 2, they get $20,000. That's a grant. They don't have to pay it back. So this is what Sweet Baby Inc. is getting, $25K. Brought to you by Alec Holoka's old company, Kami Office Space that gets money from the Canadian government, and Clever Endeavor, which is the ultimate chicken horse people, which I might have pulled up. I think I pulled up. Yeah, they're... Whew. So this is what went missing. This is what I wanted to make fun of. This was on that last page, but got taken down. Deteji Green is a pronoun fluid, not just gender fluid, pronoun fluid. Queer cis Jamaican Canadian woman based in Toronto, and Kingston. All of them get called settlers except for the black woman. Into things like decolonial feminist witnessing. What? Thinking about classism. Anti-capitalism. Oh, collective care. You're talking about self-care. Collective care.
Yeah, and they hate capitalism for sure. They always mention
Co-op. Yeah, well, that's the thing is I found in their tweet, their first like real tweet that wasn't a repost, was a meme of what Mean Girls is. Get in, we're going to seize the means of production. And it said like first video games and then the world. So they talk about seizing the means of production. And I call these people Marxists, and people are like, well, actually, they're not Marxist. So
they are at their core. It's what it is. It's taking control of. It's calling everything racist and sexist and horrible until you control it. It's what they want. They want to be the big bosses.
In my video, I have to edit later. That will be coming out later today, probably in the evening. I talk about all the hit pieces on us, and I talk about this stuff because they are calling out stuff correctly, but they're also a bunch of games journalists, so they may also be lying. That's why I don't believe all the didn't do nothing crowd as well.
It's somewhere down the middle.
You seem to think I'm telling you you're wrong and that I'm 100% right. I'm telling you it's still not even settled. But what some of you guys are thinking, blaming them for absolutely everything, is not 100% correct. It's okay to not be 100% correct. We're not working with the full amount of information. It's okay. So I have some more of that full information because this is like all I've been doing. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing though, is BlackRock CEO doesn't have to come in and say race swap that character because it's already woke mind virused out. If they got the ESG, if they got the BlackRock buying them up a bunch, they got the Sweet Baby Inc. connection. They got all the crazy devs and whatnot being weirdo never Trumpers on Twitter and stuff like that. Those are all warning signs. That's when you're like, detected, this is going to be bad. And I'm saying all of it is the problem. We can't blame Sweet Baby Inc. for all of it. And you can say you guys aren't doing that as much as you want, but I see it too much. And that is where Kotaku then gets us. So I'm just saying we need to become the investigative journalist, which I'm like sweaty at this point. Turns out we might have to poke some holes in this when we start selling them, and they don't breathe very well.
Because in an investigation, assumptions kill.
Yeah, we got to get it right because I've been going down the rabbit holes half my life, and I see too many people. They're pretty new to it, and I see the same thing over and over. They find one thing, and then they blame that thing for everything. I'm saying we got to look at the whole freaking puzzle. So, Gamma Space, that's the other place they get funding from. I'm sorry, normally this forced dark mode makes things better, but this one's pretty bad. A cooperative studio of game developers. Individual and collective support. And then this is cohorts in 2022 and 2023 were also supported by the Ontario Creates Capacity Development Program. You go to the Ontario Creates website, about us, the first thing they say is we're part of the provincial government. So these crazy woke Canadian indie devs are getting money from the Ontario government. So go down here, anti-oppression and decolonization framework. Statement about Palestine. That's what I'm saying is that going through all these stuff, I saw a lot of Palestinian flags. They are very obsessed with that at this moment. That's because they're all part of this woke Borg collective.
And they would all be thrown off of a roof the moment they crossed in there. Yeah.
You don't need Sweet Baby Inc. coming in to ruin everything when it's already ruined. Now, are they also doing some ruining? Yes, probably. As much as some people are accusing them of, I don't think so. And some of those people accusing them of was me. I'm just trying to get things right. Which is why I have to make a freaking... Realizing I was getting stuff wrong is why I decided to make a documentary. And then I found out more, and the more I learned, the more I had to double check and make sure it was right. Oh my God, it's a giant mess. Let's look at the Ultimate Chicken Horse developers. We're getting close to 2 hours. We got a little bit more. Yeah, we'll probably just go a little over 2 hours. We make games that bring people together through creative play. Sounds good. All right, I like that part. And then immediately, we prioritize our team's mental health and well-being. I'm telling you, these guys, and a lot of people, they're like, oh, these people are evil, or oh, they're carrying out this exact agenda. And the thing is, like, no, they may be working for evil. They may be useful idiots for evil, but they got their own reasons for doing this. And mostly that's not evil.
Yeah,
mostly
they're retarded, narcissistic, vapid people. Yeah,
they're SJWs. And they're all depressed. You can tell because the very first thing on the values is we care about our team's mental health and well-being. That's why they can come in like to work whenever they want. They respect each other's feelings and ideas and blah, blah, blah. Oh, Hayden up in the house? Love to see. I love seeing that wrench next to his name. Is he a mod in any other chat? Or do I have Hayden exclusively as my mod? We are diverse and honor every person's experiences and every aspect of their identity, unless they're a conservative. We treat our players and community responsibly. I don't know. We help
sustainability in there.
We help to improve our industry by fighting to improve the lives of developers of typically marginalized groups in our industries.
Underrepresented group, or UGS, is my favorite one.
It's the victim industry. They make good money. Just look at all of Al Sharpton's gold chains. And that's what a lot of this is they're not pushing some evil agenda on purpose. They just want to get jobs in the industry and they want job security. And some of the way to do that is they have to get rid of the actual talented people. And a lot of those talented people just happen to be nerdy white men. So what do? Attack nerdy white men. And
see, Grassy, this is where he's correct.
It carries out it carries out an agenda, but people put the different motives on them. I have one of the tweets. The person's like, "I wish I was this crazy, shadowy assassin that people keep accusing me of being," and that's what we got to stop doing. We got to give these people the appropriate credit for what they have destroyed. Sometimes we're giving them too much credit, but by doing so, we're acknowledging that the whole industry is screwed up. So Kotaku is actually helping people realize that it's a bigger problem. And instead, if we started off saying it's a bigger problem, they would lie and say, no, it's not. But now we just got them to admit that it's an industry-wide problem. Game Jam. Yeah, founders did a game jam together. So a lot of this Gamergate stuff comes from game jams, which are actually like a cool thing. I support them. But they're a bunch of crazy SJWs, so stuff never works out. Land acknowledgement. They all got to admit they're a bunch of evil settlers. Then we got the team. They're all he, him, she, hers. They're all appropriate. A lot of them look like normal people, but they all put their pronouns in their name in their bios for some reason. Equity, diversity, and inclusion statement.
I prefer Jedi myself.
Yes,
a little justice there first. Make it special. Make it snappy. Yeah, that's the same ideological capture that we've had. Someone said that when the money, no, Disney is not going to lead. None of this is going to stop until the people in charge and their ideology go away. They'll just keep doing it. All that shit about Disney,
they're hydras too.
And all that, they're just hiding.
They're hydras.
Right?
You chop off one, you get two more in return.
Because as we just saw with all of the Disney files, I got to go over the fourth part. Everyone, all the companies, all the game companies aren't the companies you think they are. All the OGs have left and it's all captured. All the movie studios are not the OGs you think. They've all left and it's been captured. So if we, like he said, it's a hydra. If we got rid of all the main names, the other ones would just mold right back into place and they'd be just as shitty and just as not competent.
Which is why we have to go after all of it, because we 100%. Get rid of Sweet Baby Inc. and then everyone says, yay, we won, guys, we won.
I'm here for you. I got it. I'm saying it. It's true.
Yeah, one of these crazy woke companies that Baby Ghost helped fund, it was all some neo-Caribbean environmental propaganda crap, and their operating system, they call it Jedi 3.0. Jedi for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion.
Hayden, yeah, I think that's sort of what we're talking about, is they're just going to we have to pay attention to the actual names of the people, because they're just going to keep circulating, failing upward, lateral movements. Keep their names.
I spent an hour on stuff that wasn't even the story I broke, because you have to know all the names to work up to it. And I barely even touch on like the Anita Sarkeesian types. So this is why I bring it up. Kotaku, Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't do what some gamers think it does. That's what I'm saying. I agree with that headline because it is correct. It doesn't do what some gamers think it does. Now, of course, they obfuscate and lie. They don't bring up the point that Sweet Baby Ink Detected was the ones harassed and stuff like that. So yes, I disavow this article. But some of the points they make are true, and I'm just by doing that got me thinking because I had already seen some info, but then once they came out with all these we didn't do nothing stuff, I learned a bit more about what's going on and then took some of the old information I had, it clicked, and I was like, oh. So I ain't trying to call you guys wrong or anything. I'm just trying to help you come to that oh moment I had because no one company isn't forcing diversity into all your favorite video games. And then in parentheses, all the studios that are woke as fuck are forcing that diversity into your favorite video games. Kotaku doing my work for me. And yeah, they point out, yeah, it's not even the largest narrative design company and whatnot. Nor is it solely responsible for all this stuff we keep blaming it on. And I said solely, Darby's showing up. Dude, I love seeing you guys all in chat. I got 108 people in here, honestly. It's the OGs I appreciate seeing most. Especially because all the new people are grays. Get them grays out of here, Darby.
We appreciate everyone.
We got?
Thank you. He is very grateful for everyone being here.
He got Jet Spitzer and Hayden.
Hell yeah.
And Creativity's Avenger in there. And Warren. He got like all my favorite people. I love all of you guys equally. Some of you I just love more. Oh, some people have made it to the next month. So if you notice, your guys' badges were demonetized. But if you make it to the second month, you guys are now monetized. And then at the third month, Hayden will like this. All you guys will have an orange circle with an H in it. At 3 months to 6 months, y'all become Haydens. Who's got a Hayden badge? Who's got a Hayden badge? Nerd Wars has Hayden badge. And then once you hit 6 months, then y'all get the Mage Demon badge till we've been to a year. Haven't seen him in here a while again, but he's a lurker, so hopefully he's been lurking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Hayden, we love having you here. All of you, I love having you here. All of you are equal, except some are more equal than others. Fucking Hayden.
Well, speaking of...
I'm getting a costume on. Read it for us.
Well, Hayden, thank you. Everyone gets to pay his rent and eat food that's not bugs. Bravo on all the great work, my friends. Keep it up. I don't think this is Gamergate 2.0. This is the DLC for the original Gamergate. It never ended for 50. Yeah, I could see that. But it is a continuation of Gamergate, and that is the point. Be it DLC or full sequel, it is a part 2.
I thought it was like metaphorically, and then I thought it was a little bit literally. But when I keep finding more and more and more of these connections, we have another connection coming up to one of the 5 guys. One of the 5 guys wrote a hit piece. So, I know, Hayden, you're the freaking best, dude. There's a reason why you're going to be a badge for a lot of people for like 3 months. You'll love to see it. So, the big difference, it's Gamergate 2, but
Drop
the media...
$50, you'll get love. Otherwise, get back in line.
The media doesn't have any power anymore. We are the games journalists now, and they all changed genders. So they're different in that way, but the first Gamergate, a lot of that, we still have the Kotakus and whatnot, but a lot of that was indie devs. Now it's made it into the AAA games, and way more people, the mainstream, are finding out about it. So my argument in my documentary is that we had expansion pack, like DLC. Then we got a really big expansion pack with like Alakaloka and stuff. And then now it's gone mainstream. Now it's like Destiny, when Destiny does like DLC after DLC, and then eventually they'll release Destiny 2, or you finally get like an Overwatch 2. This is Gamergate now officially doing a full Gamergate 2 release with Battle Pass included. I would argue
jump on board.
I do think it is the expansion packs, but I think this is going to be so big, especially since this is still just the middle, maybe beginning. I guess this would be maybe the middle-ish, since the Alan Wake 2 stuff kind of started it. We're still at the middle, and you don't realize like it's Gamergate 2 now until later. Once you can be retrospective and you've been through it all. So I think, but it's so obvious, and there's a bunch of other people who have said it and pointed out other connections. It really is. I think we got a brand new full game, especially if we can keep this going. If we get the weird ghost stories to break, we can get people to realize it's all of the companies and start looking at all of the companies, so we can find more of these companies because there's a bunch more out there.
Yes, there are, and Dan makes a great point because I know we said it would be better if they kept that to the indie, but that's the point. They want mainstream. It's not enough for Miles Morales to be a Spider-Man. He needs to be the Spider-Man. Bruce Wayne, it can't be bad. There has to be a black Batman. Jace Fox has to be the Batman. They always have to replace it. They always have to be at the big show. They always have to be in front. It's not enough. They don't see legitimacy in anything else. They don't care about their representation unless they can force it to everyone. That's what they want.
Which is why this is different than the original Gamergate. And it's reaching more people. It's not just like 4chan people. Now,
and we're ready to hear it now more. It's much harder for them to do that bullshit lies because we've seen how they lie since 2016. Many of the normies have seen the same thing get put into motion.
I have that in my timeline. I have Trump gets elected because a lot of these people were crazy, but then that just broke people. And then that's when it really moved from just calling us sexist to calling us all the Istanphobes. And that's the whole thing with Gamergate. They don't even really care about the Five Guys and whatnot. They were just pissed that they kept getting called sexist by all the Kotakus and whatnot. And then it comes out they were all sleeping around and whatnot. Zoe Quinn was the men who cheat on their wives are the worst. And then she cheated on her boyfriend with 5 dudes. So it's the hypocrisy of it all that really bugged people. And then when they were reporting on it, they got attacked even more for being sexist, dragged through the media, like Alaka Loco was dragged through the media. They made Gamergate the straw man for everything. So that and all the censorship and that sort of stuff, all the lies and full-on fabrications, that's what really pisses off all the original Gamergate people. It wasn't even necessarily obviously the corruption and whatnot was a problem, but it's more the hypocrisy of all the corruption and all the collusion.
Right. Well, collusion.
It was defensive. Gamergate was defensive. They were attacked by all the Kotakus and all the feminist frequencies and whatnot.
Well, thankfully, they brought this on themselves by attacking a dude just for making a list, which, again, if they were proud of their work.
It's exactly what Gamergate was. It's the Streisand effect.
Yeah.
That's what started Gamergate. You try to hide something, and everyone wants to see it. I don't think I was telling this on there. I think it was behind where I got Weird Ghost to pull their website down. I didn't get caught up in Streisand effect. I had Streisand effect done directly to me. Like purified Streisand effect was injected into me, and now I'm a video games journalist. Gross.
That explains it.
Gross. Hey, Hayden, if you're into writing, you should become a G&G writer. I'll tell you all how here shortly. So, blah, blah, blah. And then they get to attack us and all this Kotaku piece. And I'm just saying, let's get things right. And like Alan Wake 2 game director went on X to dispel rumors that Sweet Baby was the reason protagonist Saga Anderson was black.
Okay, good. What do you say?
It's absolutely not true. No, do you want me to actually pull it up?
Yeah. Lady
pull
Aaron,
up?
Come on, because you were on my side. Let's see. He's about to prove to us right now that this was going to be done without Sweet Baby Inc. and that we were wrong in our assumptions. And in an investigation,
well, if you're saying that they fired the white actress and replaced her with a black one,
they clearly did. Now, whether they made that decision on their own is just what that would be reframed as. That decision was made before. That for whatever reason, chasing the ESG, they decided to switch it up and make Saga, who's supposed to be Norse, half black. Inadvertently making her absentee father a black absentee father. I guess they didn't think about that.
So it's not too much more of a receipt, but yeah, it's absolutely not true. But that's the thing is a bunch of people came out saying this who worked on the games. So you can say, I don't believe these people at all, but you still got to take this evidence into consideration.
Okay, to be fair, I said I didn't believe Kim. Kyle, fine. Okay.
Well, no, there's more. I'm not even, I don't even have anything from, I might, but I don't even think I have anything from Blair saying this stuff. This is the companies they work with, people who work with they're like, that's not what they did there. What they did though probably was some woke crap, but a lot of it isn't even having to do with woke. They actually are just doing a normal job. But while doing a normal job, they probably are also squeezing wokeness in because some of it is about authenticity and crap like that. Yeah. But I'm saying like this, I pulled up, I think I've got 9 pages. Let me pull it up. Yeah, so far I've got 9 pages in my document about all this crap.
You went deep.
Yeah, too deep. And I stared into the darkness and became the games journalist Darkness.
That's the best Batman line ever when he's fighting Owlman and he's like, we both looked into the darkness. The only difference is when it looked back at you, you blinked. Watch that movie, by the way. Justice on Tours. No DEI in it, I swear.
To bring up Anita Sarkeesian and all that stuff. And then this is what I like. In the Discord that she infiltrated, they talk about things like Overwatch, Forspoken, and Life is Strange. That's where it's at. Like Overwatch, Blizzard, they have the diversity tool. Sweet Baby Inc. didn't make them do a diversity tool. MIT made a diversity tool for them so they can make their characters diverse enough.
The Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Sweet Baby Inc. didn't do it. MI Elite University did it. And that is what I'm trying to say is the whole system is corrupt. That's what Gamergate 1 was trying to say. The whole industry is corrupt. That's what I'm saying. Sweet Baby Inc. is just part of that corruption and should probably get some blame. I'm just saying maybe not as much blame as we're giving it because these companies already did the damage before they brought Sweet Baby in. Some of the stuff, though, they might be lying about that didn't do nothing. Yeah, but from what's currently out, that's what I have to go off of. If I get more evidence, I'm happy to change my mind.
No, he says this. Agrees that SBI is simply chopping the tail off the snake. We need to go for the head, the studios. But by boycotting SBI, we're also boycotting the company Two Birds. Yeah, we're calling them out. We're just saying let's not blame them for things they didn't have a hand in. I understand. I agree. He showed the receipts just now. Fine. Fuck you.
Yeah,
still
and
have
I've got more.
Hand in a bunch of shitty shit that I don't like.
I hadn't actually seen that receipt yet.
Fine. I'm willing to concede that one because, as you said, the end result is they still made something that would have been bad worse.
Here we go. Sweet Baby Inc. isn't forcing diversity. It's happening naturally. That's what I am saying. But here's where they lie. They say they are not a DEI consultancy firm. We went through their website. They literally are like, we want to get you to hire diverse people.
Yeah.
And here's all this woke stuff. We'll make sure your woke is just the right amount. So this sounds like some word games to me. So I'm not saying they're right about everything, but they are right about some, and they accidentally make my point for me and make it easier to show people it's so much bigger than just Sweet Baby Inc. Yeah, and they say, most of its work is focused on writing stories and dialogue. They're saying, like, that's not woke stuff getting in, but you think, like, oh, but that is how woke stuff gets in. But then you figure out what narrative designers actually do, and then it's like, oh, okay, so it's probably the writers doing that. But then you find out some of them are also, like, Belair writers and stuff, too. Then it's like, maybe you did a little bit more than I didn't do nothing. And that's all I am trying to say. And what I'm trying to say is, I'm not trying to say there's no conspiracy. I'm trying to say the conspiracy is much, much bigger. But it doesn't need to be an actual organized conspiracy, even though Whisper networks, just like in Comicsgate with their Whisper networks, Gamergate had their own Whisper network with all these Kotaku people, a secret email list telling people to like downplay Zoe Quinn stuff and what have you.
Well, that's the point also, Hayden, is they all said the quiet part out loud, not just Sweet Baby Inc. A lot of them, they just got so confident that they're saying it. Even the Whiskey Echo Foxtrot, when you talk about the things they want, well, it's all right there. It's the name of their books. It's on all their websites, population, what they want is what their cities, what they'd like, what they'd want equity to look like.
Still a front group. The WEF is that a lot of people want to blame is another group people want to blame everything for. They're just a front group to push it.
That's fine, but until we get them,
we got to look at
someone to focus on.
We look at all the stuff they push, and we look at all the stuff behind them and what the true agenda is.
Sure.
And the true agenda always comes back to politics, and it comes back to demographics and which demographics vote for socialism, which ones vote against. Spoiler alert, white men are the ones who vote against socialism. That's why they hate them so much.
Yeah,
so it's like...
But for these people come in,
these crazies, they're not doing it for that reason. They're doing it because they want job security. They want to break into the industry and then have job security despite being incompetent. But some of them, like the Five Guys post, he makes a big point of Zoe Quinn is really smart and talented. So a lot of these people that have made good games and whatnot, a lot of them are also really untalented as well. So that's the other thing too, is like I can admit they have done some good. But some people just want to be, all bad. Like they've worked on People Can Fly or whatever. That was the Outriders people. I love that game. It exploded the first month because like everyone stopped playing because it was so broken no one could play it. I really love that game. I even got the 6969. I even got and I didn't remember any wokeness from it. So that's some of the stuff they have worked on. I didn't remember no wokeness bothered me at all. So they've also done narrative design for things and not made stuff woke as crap. Probably because they came in at the end. So that's what I'm saying is don't say, oh, they're all any company they touch is the worst. We gotta have some discernment here is all I'm calling for. And yeah, pull that bad boy back up. 69. Joker's Disciple out here paying my bills, funding my comic book addiction. I love it. I kind of got a couple books yesterday I shouldn't have. Hayden's been picking up some books finally. Hayden, what comic books you got lately? All right, so now we get to move on to another Gamergate guy. Okay, so how a small video game narrative studio wound up at the heart of a massive anti-woke conspiracy theory. Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't even remotely do what many think it does, but on the modern internet, that doesn't matter. And in some ways, he is correct. So I am saying, let's just get a little, now we have more information. Let's look into it, do a little investigative journalism ourselves, and figure out exactly what they do. Instead of just blaming them for absolutely everything, because when we do that, they get to write articles like this where they talk about Pizzagate and QAnon and Illuminati.
Bitch,
and then,
look at you.
And
look
then
at you
also,
getting memberships.
Oh, Darby I'm going to run out of room for costumes. If only you had a costume. Wait, we haven't announced this here. This guy, he got a Superman, Green Lantern, and Spider-Man costume. They were all too tight. He put them on anyways and sent me his dick pics for some reason. But here really soon, cool. We're going to be able to force him into one of those costumes. So my thought was total if we get 50
will happen.
If we get $50, we're going to make that guy get into a skin tight outfit and hopefully he doesn't show us his dick in the process.
Let me see briefly. There was a Superman. There was a Superman.
Okay, that was the one he didn't send the dick pic of. That was the Spider-Man. So yeah, here's what I'm saying. Let's get this crap right so it's harder for them to do all this stuff. Because they do it because we get it wrong. But if we're on point, then obviously they're still going to lie about us and just move on and whatnot. But for people looking at it, new people who come in from this crap, we got to get on the same page of what's actually happening. And some people are giving them too much credit. Now, did they do nothing? I also don't totally believe that. But figuring out what narrative designers and writers do, that's important. And once I figured that out, I ended up doing the modern gaming audience.
For modern gaming audience.
Senior narrative designer. I just randomly put that in a video. Oh my God. Anna's no good with the 20. Drops the 20. Moonwalks out of here.
Walks into the bar. Doesn't say
love
anything.
To see it.
You got to be a cocky son of a bitch to 20 and not say. You got to get the Ripper thing when the guy gets the 500 and he just stares dumbfounded.
I don't have a good one, but Jay Hailstorm, he posted it in the group chat the other day and I meant to hit him up. I need to get that. Oh my God. Tech Rat got a gifty from Alex Darby. Clinton got one too. I love to see it. Alex Darby single-handedly turning this chat green while I single-handedly turn the rest of the chat blue. You love to see it.
As usual, we underestimated the chat.
Yes, we did.
And they showed up in a big way.
You're breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
Seriously, you guys are the best. You're the only reasons I didn't cancel my stream. Sweet Baby Ink's the only reason my channel hasn't been destroyed. I freaking love you guys.
Thanks, guys.
So we've got a clip that's great. This isn't just Sweet Baby Ink that's the problem. It's the whole culture. And my friend Hill versus Babyface wants to describe that culture to us.
Fucking current day Californian shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking boring!
That rant has aged like fine wine. It really has. Like all the way through it. And what he was actually talking about, that it was indicative of a larger problem. Shout out to Az.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, is it's the larger problem. That is what we need to focus on. And Kotaku is doing their best to help us. And man, Cabrutus, what's he at? I know he's got to be on his way to 250K followers at this point on Sweet Baby Ink Detected. Who
I
also
followed him.
Yeah, if you guys don't watch Hypnotic's Saturday night hypnosis streams, they start at 8 p.m. Eastern, so tonight, 8 p.m. They're so freaking good, go for about 3 hours. He's got Cabrutus on as a guest. So you want to hear from Cabrutus himself, the guy behind Sweet Baby Ink Detected?
Bro,
Hayden!
You got a membership channel?
I apologize for all those bad things I said about Hayden while he wasn't in chat.
He will not be outdone by anyone.
Hey, oh my God. I freaking love you guys.
Turn green. Turn green.
I kind of forgot about like getting super chats and gifties and stuff like that. Sometimes I forget I'm streaming. You guys make it so good. Oh yeah, Hypnotic's here. Yeah, Hypnotic is here.
Me happy to see the support and to see you in the chat, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Good job.
How great was that? So Badge had his first stream last night for the 1,000 subs, and all his homies dropped by. It just feels good to have your homies come hang out and chat, right?
It does. All the people I wanted to came by that could make it for the most part. And yeah, man, thanks, Hypnotic. Thank you, Hayden, for all the memberships here.
Yeah, it's surreal.
Keeping them alive.
Yeah, Hayden dropping 50s in chat. Shit is surreal. It's so weird. I love it. And like, the grassroots, like we are the media now, and we all play our different roles. Just like Sweet Baby Inc. and all those crazy wokes, they play their different role in the crazy pyramid. We play our role in our decentralized glob of fandom.
Oh, I just want to say shout out to Hypnotic, who is consistently getting like a couple hundred people to watch him every day streaming, man.
He's doing
really
so
impressive.
good.
Really impressive, dude.
After he puts out his videos today and his channel's canceled, it's gonna be so sad. But till then,
yeah.
Oh yeah, so I think I announced that on like the last stream, but yeah, I'm actually Hypnotic's editor now. And when he had me on the stream, he introduced me as like a bigot or something, and I forgot about the bigot army. And I was like, what? And it was like 2-3 weeks after I took the job, where I'm like, oh wait, shit, they are the bigot army. Oh man, Kotaku's gonna have fun with that one. And he really put the bigot and bigot army on these videos he's got coming out today. He is very passionate. And that's what I'm saying is the passion he has for people attacking the DBZ creator after he died, some of which was Chris Kindred from the Sweet Baby Ink Detective fiasco.
Wait to talk shit.
I want that sort of passion and anger directed at the people truly behind all of this stuff. Have that passion for the individuals, but like the Klaus Schwabs and the Hillarys and the Gates and stuff like that, let's also have an equal amount or more passion for finishing those, that's not a good term, for defeating those evil fucks. Because a lot of people, I've been seeing these people say that these people are like evil, and I'm like, that might be a little too far. But we start talking about the people truly behind all this stuff, then evil starts being like, okay, that's probably an accurate term.
Yeah, I only start throwing around evil when it comes to the complete destruction of our morals in society and or kids, anything involving the children.
Yeah, and that's partly the problem. And like one of the games that that Baby Ghost is funding is for like 10 to 14-year-olds for convincing them all the environmental propaganda.
Yeah.
So another reason this is different from Gamergate 1 is like Asmongold had Cabrutus on. Critical Drinker made videos about this. Dishbrew even got in on it. Mediaholic. Jeremy from G&G is making videos again because of Sweet Baby Inc. That is why it's different, because it's going mainstream, and it's with mainstream video games that more people have played. So more people are annoyed with
Drinker covering it was like, okay, all right, it's making its way, because obviously he only mostly just talks about movies and some pop culture related to those movies, but he doesn't make straight up, and he did. So that it's definitely making a stank.
All right, so more nuance. I hate the word nuance so much, but here's some nuance for you. Some have come to believe that Sweet Baby services were being forced on developers by corporate overlords obsessed with DEI initiatives, which in turn were born of a desire to secure ESG investment from gargantuan firms like BlackRock and Vanguard. This is true. People want to say every single instance, this is what is happening. I'm here to say, I don't think it's every single instance, and I know it's not every single instance. Yeah, that BlackRock, which does actually invest in companies like Microsoft, EA, and Take-Two. So that sort of stuff going into these big companies are the big companies that are funding this stuff, but they're also funding all the other woke big companies that have nothing to do with Sweet Baby Inc. And BlackRock's not coming in and saying you have to diversify in a lot of situations. It's like Microsoft's HR department that is doing it. Now, are they doing that because of BlackRock? Probably, but it's more soft control than go along with this agenda, because they don't have to have the formal conspiracy when you got all this woke mind virus blob board collective.
Yeah.
And so by that logic, you can also attribute a significant portion of recent video game industry layoffs to Sweet Baby. That's another thing is, oh man, they are getting destroyed. They're getting laid off like crazy. I'd read some stories. I didn't realize just how bad it is. Like I heard a problematic white guy sent me something where someone compared it to the Red Wedding. It's bad. But then people want to blame all that on Sweet Baby, when part of that is they're doing like the woke games. A lot of it is they're spending too much on these games. But it's, people are, they find one thing and then they just want to attribute that to everything. It's also just like the economy and stuff for the layoffs. Like a lot of these woke media companies are getting crushed. But I recently saw something where a lot of the conservative websites are down too. So it's not just like Vice and all them that are going to be shut down. This year, we're probably going to lose some conservative sites too. Like in general, the media is having a hard time. In general, big tech is having a hard time. So it's not just like the wokeness in games is why all the layoffs are there. So that's all I'm saying is we just understand the situation a little bit better rather than finding one thing and blaming everything on that. Or else they get to write these sorts of articles.
Right.
Yeah, and you'd better believe that, conspiracy theorists did blame Sweet Baby for all the layoffs. So, which I'm a part of. I'm a part of those people doing that. And then I found out more, and then I'm like, oh, okay, let's take it back a little bit, guys. Look at this a little more realistically. So now people are running around suggesting that BlackRock indirectly or directly controls a tiny narrative studio, which in turn controls the video game industry. That is what we have to avoid. And you can say, oh, we're not saying it all you want. I've seen this sort of stuff for months. I've seen all the BlackRock for months. I love it. I was so happy when all the conservatives found out about the WEF, but then the WEF started getting blamed for everything. And I'm just like, it's not everything. There's lots of different groups doing lots of the same exact thing. And it's corporate, it's government, and it's these in-between, like NGO nonprofit types as well.
Right, but they are the main people we can point to, and they are a major source of it. And we're both right. And Hayden is what he's saying is true. Yes, you are correct. Sweet Baby Inc. are goons. They're not the mob boss, but guess what? You do not get to the mob boss without taking out the goons. Yes, this is all a symptom of a bigger problem, but you cannot fix a gun. Bleeding is a symptom of a gunshot, and you can't fix a gunshot till you stop the bleeding. That's what we're talking about.
The problem is people are pointing at the goon and saying that's the mob boss. That's what I'm trying to say.
And they do not speak for all of us. And I think far more people are
but
just,
I keep seeing them. I keep seeing them. And I was in the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected Discord and was seeing some of the stuff as well.
Well, I'm not in their Discord. To God. Ooh.
Well, that's what I'm saying, dude.
I went down
I went down the freaking rabbit hole. I probably know more about this crap than just about anyone at this point. And I have to, the rest of my day is going to be spent looking even further into it.
You're going to cry in the shower.
Because I already did. I became a games journalist. I'm already ready to change genders. This is just prepping me for when I get my extra ears when I go transspeciest.
No, we can't have you do that.
So that's what I'm. So and then we'll go back. We'll go back. It's a conspiracy theory that checks all the boxes. That's what I'm saying. When it's too easy, then we're probably not quite right. If it checks all the boxes, you're just like blame China for power outages and stuff like that. When everyone's doing it immediately, I'm like, I love the enthusiasm. It checks all the boxes a little too easy, though. It's a little too quiet around here. Something must be up. It conveniently explains pretty much everything happening right now. If anything really conveniently explains everything, there's definitely something there, but you're probably attributing a little too much power to it. Ties it back to organizations of which people are understandably suspicious, which I assume is what, BlackRock? I can't see what's popping up. Links to a much larger ongoing panic, DEI, which that is a conspiracy forced by all the UN types, all the SDGs. If you look at all the ESG reports and whatnot, they'll put the little pictures from the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and that's the UN. And of course, they're like, oh, we're just doing it because we want to protect the environment and help poor people. But we know they're all lying to us. And that's why this stuff, we see it, and we should believe they're lying to us. But once people think everything's a lie and then they find one thing to blame stuff on, then everything is a lie and they just blame everything on that one group. And we see it. He brings it up in this article about the when he goes about the anti-Semitism, the them or the they, and you put the 3 parentheses around them, you know, the people who are fans of like Wikipedia early life section, they find one little piece of the puzzle and they say, I solved the puzzle, guys. And it's just like, no, God, look, there are many other pieces of the puzzle. Stop thinking the goon is the mob boss. That's all I'm saying. Or else they get validates preconceived notions like go woke, go broke, sprinkles in a few kernels of truth regarding powerful interests. So there you go. Even he has to admit there's a few kernels of truth in there. And most importantly, it provides a clear and identifiable enemy. It's also almost entirely bullshit. No, see? I can say when we're wrong. I can also say when this guy is clearly wrong. And it does fit into our go woke, go broke, but also that's partly just because changing industry and whatnot. But something like Suicide Squad, that was 100% because people thought it looked bad. They were done with the looter shooter, all that crap. But a lot of it was because people were aware Sweet Baby was involved. And that is where Sweet Baby is great, because it's like when you're fishing and your bobber goes underwater. You're like, well, I got to fish. If Sweet Baby's working with them as a consulting, then you got to fish. And it's probably going to one that goes woke, goes broke. But also it's economic problems. They ran out of their 0% interest rate money and venture capital and all that stuff. And also are now apparently running out of the ESG money as well.
That's what we're hearing.
So it's a whole big thing. And if you just want to blame it all on Sweet Baby, then that's not correct. And then these idiots go out and say you're not correct.
No,
and then focus
I guess
only on that.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is I think you personally are fucking first overestimating the people that are blaming everything on them, and then the amount or the effect they actually have. Right, I'm glad, but most people haven't fucking heard of them. We don't give a shit about them. Most people are correctly calling out Sweet Baby Inc. for exactly what we thought they did, or at the very least, the nuance.
What we thought they did. What we thought they did.
But I guess what I'm saying is, even if you readjust
have a different
for what
understanding
they actually did, the fucking result is the exact same. How we deal with them is the exact same. How they're treated, it's all the exact same.
Well,
don't buy their shit. Call them out.
So, Sweet Baby CEO tells Aftermath, which I forgot to mention. Yeah, this is Nathan Grayson, one of the 5 guys that Zoe Quinn fucked. I think that's reflective, and also gave her some mentions in some articles. I think that's reflective of the shape of this whole thing. The assumption will always be that our focus is going to be on DEI, but the reality often is that we do more narrative work.
But the narrative work crushes DEI.
But not always. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes the narrative work is, let's make sure this black guy talks like that a black guy from that area should talk. But some of it is just them doing a normal like games job, and they happen to be a BIPOC of LGBTQ LMNOP nature.
No, but that's literally their entire existence.
Yeah, they are. So they're not going in there to focus on DI, even though they offer those services. That's what I'm saying. Is sometimes
narrative they worked on that wasn't related to DEI. They don't go up there and make the only way they try to make anyone compelling is through a DEI narrative in some way, shape, or form. There's no why. Oh, we just consulted on story related to DEI.
No, well, that's more gets into woke mind virus. Where DEI, I mean the actual specific like HR DEI and the actual them doing DEI consulting and whatnot.
Oh, I'm saying they're one and the same. DEI consulting is the woke mind virus.
That's what I'm saying, though. Yeah, there are differences, and there's differences in writing, and there's differences in doing the narrative stuff. That's what I didn't understand at first. It was them calling this stuff out that made me actually realize, and I'd remember them always going on about narrative this, narrative that. All the original Gamergate stuff, a lot of those people were also into narrative stuff. So through the narrative stuff, they do slip a bunch of stuff in, but they also just do normal work on video games. But they're woke as shit, so their normal work is woken it up. But they're not coming in there specifically hired to DEI it up. And a lot of that woke crap is probably already in before they come in with the narrative work stuff. Some of it, though, they probably do add in. But if it's a company that's hiring them in the first place, they've already got those people inside who have already done a lot of the damage.
Right.
Let's see. We did a lot of rounds on the treatments of Spider-Man 2. We came in, we looked at certain levels, certain ways to better accomplish the goals of the project. Now, this is one, you want to say that they were involved with the deaf black girl spray painting? I would understand them being part of that side mission and how it would go. Now, the original idea to have the have him date a deaf black girl who
That's
then
what I'm
spray
saying.
paints.
When you say, "Oh, they
That-
just do normal game," because what do you think that means? It
That
means
was
even if
probably
it all
Insomniac.
existed, right? Even if everyone was race swapped and gender swapped, and that all existed, they would come in and their narrative work would only be to make that DEI better. But it would
That's
only
what I'm
be
saying.
related.
The cherry
Right.
on top. That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
guess what, bitch? No one was saying you was wrong. We all knew that's what they did. Yes, we know they do that.
I'm telling you, man. I keep saying this.
Name
You want
names.
me to-
Black Girl Magic.
I'll go through my comments after this next one. Yeah. Because I love seeing the passion and whatnot, but people want to blame them for everything. They want to call them like evil and stuff, and it's just people take things too
but
far.
I agree. It's all related to DEI, no matter what the scale of it is. That is, even if they just came in and just did a normal thing,
how much
they would
do you
only
know
ask
about
them to consult on.
How much do you know
if this
about game
was-
development?
I
knew
knew
like
I play
zero.
a lot of them. No, I knew actually a lot about
okay.
game development. Been beta testers for mini games over the years.
Did you know the difference between writers and narrative people?
Yes, I'm well aware of them actually. Some people write the entire overall game narrative. Some people are just specific characters. Some people are just certain planets and quests or stories. It's branching. And in this specific case, coming in for the narrative, I think that's specifically what we want our characters to tell. And that's not the actual story. That's the what messaging do we want to play through it.
In the end, wait, do I have it pulled up?
No.
Damn it, wrong button. No.
Here, right there.
No, we got to have it bigger for people.
Giggity.
In the end, especially in the last sequences of the game, there's a lot of stuff that we changed and figured out in the last sequences of the game.
She talking about Spider-Man 2?
Yes. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying is I think in a lot of cases, they came in after the fact and they were like, okay, your deaf black girl spray painting is not offensive to us anymore. Or our sensitivity readers have found it too insensitive. Because that's the thing, sensitivity readers come in after to read and then see if that hurts their feels.
That
seems to be what they do.
I played the
Authenticity.
Miles Morales game, which would introduce the deaf black character, which Sweet Baby Games had to have worked out, came out before Spider-Man 2, meaning they came in the middle, and while Spider-Man 2 wasn't yet finished, they did everything they did on the Miles Morales game, and then at the end, which is what they could change because it wasn't finished, they did that. Like I said, this just goes to they'll change whatever they can get their hands on depending on when they come into the project, and like you said, they wish it was even earlier.
But
often it's
yes.
just at the end.
But what they're getting their hands on and what they're changing isn't as much as a lot of people seem to think.
Fair.
Including myself and everyone else I've seen report on this.
Fair. They changed
And
less than we think, but
not
I
to
still
mention
want them
the-
to be canceled, and I will still treat them the same way as if they were responsible for
The
everything. And that's not by their shit. Call them out and
Yes.
remember the names.
But your brain needs to stop telling a lie and actually understand the truth of how all of it is actually working.
Right.
'Cause
But
they
if
know-
I understand the truth,
We're
of it and
supposed to be
the result
better
is the
than these
same,
people.
Yes.
We can't be twisting facts to meet what we want them to be. We have to actually take the facts and make them what they are, not what we want them to be. And that's what I keep seeing is a lot of people, they find I've been doing this for so many freaking years, going down the rabbit hole. I've destroyed my life doing it. Seriously. And I see this over and over again, and people do not want to admit that they are wrong and whatnot in these situations. And I'm not even really saying that we were wrong. I'm just saying with the information we had, we came to some conclusions, and they don't seem to be exactly what happened. Like, here we go. I'll pull it. Yeah. None of it was related to diversity or anything like that. But it was literally about what is the best Spider-Man story we can tell?
This chat and me, where is the cognitive dissonance? I'm agreeing with everything he's saying, but I'm saying the response is still the fucking same. Whether they baked the whole cake or came by and sprinkled things, the result of how they treat them is the exact same. You don't buy their products.
But that's a
Be aware
different
of their
argument.
influence.
That's a different argument.
Okay, well then
is
guess
being
what?
made.
That's the argument I've been having because I'm never conflating the things that you're saying. I don't think a lot of people in the chat are, but maybe I'm wrong.
All I've done
Yes,
is
there
look
are.
into this, and when I take a break to look at this, I am editing a G&G or Hypnotic video about this. This is all I have done.
because you know the algorithm is hot,
And
you know,
I
and it's a
found
good
out
story.
I and many others YouTubers have been wrong, and in our being wrong, we have accidentally misled a bunch of commenters and tweeters into being wrong as well. And I'm just saying we need to make things a little more clear now that we understand what they are doing. And I'm not just going off of these comments here or some tweets. I'm going off of past statements. I'm going off the website, going all sorts of stuff. And then I take that and then I mush it all up and then I kind of look somewhere in between 70% on our side. Because
What
usually
about what Lady Aaron D says here?
Erwin is getting it, but that's like saying Disney isn't responsible because there are innocent employees who aren't part of the agenda. What I am saying is there are, like woke-ass Pixar just focusing on them when we need to focus on Pixar and Disney, the bigger problem behind it. That's what I'm saying is don't blame... Pixar isn't why everything got destroyed. Disney, presumably, and all their ESG crap is probably also involved as well. So it's the ESG crap, the BlackRock crap, but also the political, like Bob Iger stuff too. It's all, I'm saying it's not one thing. I'm saying it's all of the above. And it's just about figuring out what percentage each is responsible for. And I'm saying the percentage of fudging things up for Sweet Baby Inc. is a bit less than a lot of people are saying, where the studios themselves need to get a bigger percentage of the blame.
Right.
Okay, so what is the best Spider-Man story we can tell? So some of it is probably narrative, but they say it's not diversity or anything. But then they go in there to make sure all the diversity is accurate and stuff like that. But that's not
an
really
incomplete sentence.
But that's not really an interesting answer, right? Then conspiracy theorists have to figure out how game dev works. This is what got me to look into it. To understand that the pipeline to put a pride flag in a game is actually quite different from the pipeline to adjust a character's sexuality. So even if they are responsible for some of the woke crap, some of the other woke crap in it, the devs are responsible for. And a lot of people just want to say all the woke in games is because of Sweet Baby Inc. And I'm saying...
Who said that line of who can tell the best story?
The call is coming from inside the... that was Belair.
Yeah. And understand that she doesn't mean... How can we tell the best Spider-Man story as related to the actual character in the comics and source material? They mean, how can we tell the best Spider-Man story while including everything we want to include it, which is main female characters, main people from underrepresented groups. It's never what's actually a good story for the story. It's how can we do it? And that's probably what the main people thought too. I don't actually think the best Spider-Man story is what the main people in Insomniac wanted, which is why they keep trying to replace him with Miles, and did at the end of the second game.
So this is about Suicide Squad and everyone blaming Sweet Baby on it when there's lots of things to blame on that. But I would argue the reason people didn't buy it in the first place was because people knew it was connected to Sweet Baby. This is because a consulting firm like Sweet Baby takes on different tasks to meet the needs of specific projects, which are dictated by those heading up said project. So that's what I'm saying is they do the wokeification, but they also do other things as well. So some of these games, they might just be doing some of those other things and slipping their own woke mind virus in. All this stuff we went in before. They actually do seem to do just normal writing. But they also
I don't for 1 second think they write anything that's not. They say
but
themselves
they do
that's not
all
what
the
they
woke
do.
stuff. No, they
I don't know.
They are writers. They're writers and narrative people and DEI consultants and getting people to work for you that are LGBTQ, LMNOP, and all that stuff. They are in all of the above company, and some of that is just making games.
Yeah,
but they're all a bunch of SJW. So even just the normal making game stuff gets wokeified because they're infected by the woke mind virus. So what I'm saying is the main problem is the woke mind virus, and the studios, we are giving them an out in a lot of ways by blaming everything on Sweet Baby when the mob boss is getting away with it while the goon goes to prison. But it's hard to get that mob boss, so we got to get funky, fall down a weird ghost rabbit hole, and we got to get that mob boss through tax evasion. But we fully agree the way to stop these people is stop buying those insanely overpriced $70 games. I bought Diablo 4, never again. If Hypnotic's still in chat, I saw him on Discord. He's playing Diablo 4, shame.
It's coming out for free on Game Pass.
And that's the thing too is, so like Blizzard also woke as shit, and they don't have anything to do with Sweet Baby Inc. as far as I'm aware. And then Bungie, which is Destiny, they ruined all that stuff with wokeness too. They don't have anything to do with Sweet Baby Inc.
This is what my thing is, but you keep saying you see it and you're in chats and blah, blah, blah. But I've never seen anyone say that SBI is the fucking be all but end all. I understand. I understand what you're saying. I just haven't seen that.
If I hadn't been seeing it so many times and I hadn't participated in it myself, I wouldn't be making a documentary. A lot of my time, my next like 2-3 weeks, all my time is going to be invested in this. And I'm not doing it because I just made it up. And I know a lot of people want to be like, oh, well, we're the enlightened intellectuals on our new wonderful ivory tower, and we cannot be questioned at all. and that you run into the same problem as the other side. And as someone who's been down the rabbit hole a lot of the things we think are for sure a thing, once you look into them, a lot of times they actually aren't things. So I'm trying to figure out all this Gamergate stuff, what is real and what isn't. And at one point I was like, oh, here's who all the 5 guys are. And then I kept watching, and then 2 of the guys, turns out they were wrong about who it was.
Some of them we can't even tell if they're guys or not.
So we're not working with complete information. That's what I'm saying. So with the information we were working with, we were correct. But now that more stuff is coming out, it seems like they do a bit less, but they're also trying to deflect and say they didn't do nothing. And that I also disagree with.
Yeah.
But the percentage of what they screw up isn't as high as a lot of people seem to think it is. The same with like BlackRock, the same with ESG, the same with WEF. A lot of it, the biggest chunk of why all the woke stuff happens is ideology that comes from the woke mind virus. It's not some big conspiracy. You don't need one because they're all connected to the woke Borg through the mind virus. Now, there is collusion. You do run into the whisper networks and stuff like that. Jesus. It's funny watching the shapes that people will twist themselves into to be like, well, Sweet Baby is only a DEI place. They only do sensitivity reads. If it applies to this game that has a black character, but over here they believe Sweet Baby obviously wrote the entire story for Suicide Squad. You're wrong about everything. That's what I'm saying. They're not making up these people. They do
going
make
to mark
things
my
up
territory.
often.
I'll be back.
They do make things up often. This is not one of the things they're making up, I think. There we go. Get him out of here. So we just got to understand what they're actually doing. And like I said, I think it's less than we thought. But that just means there's more people to blame. Everyone, ourselves included. Zoe Quinn, Toyboy, Nathan Grayson rushes to aid Kotaku defending Sweet Baby Inc., calls gamers anti-Semitic. That was the article we just went through. They're all connected. But what are we doing about this terrible games journalism? Well, we are becoming the games journalist ourselves. And my good friends over... Nope, that button. My good friends over at Geeks and Gamers, Alex Gurzo, our editor-in-chief, had an interview with Code Brutus, who actually did a tweet shouting out this article and saying that I'm constantly talking about how bad games journalists are, but here's some actual good ones. This is how I accidentally became a professional games journalist, because I was supposed to send Alex the information I had on Weird Ghost, and I'm like, 2 hours and 45 minutes, and this was just me touching the surface of all of this stuff. All right, maybe I should write the article. Oh yeah, would you like to write articles for the website about video games? And that's how I became a games journalist. We got something for that. Let me see if I can find it.
Peter, I need you to hold my ears.
So, do you also want to become a games journalist?
Peter, I need you to hold my ears.
Would you like to contribute to geeksandgamers.com? It's not paying. Yeah, you're volunteering. But any of you got some writing skills and you're tired of Kotaku ruining games journalism and you want to bring ethics back to games journalism? Well, it takes a lot of research, too much research. But if you're interested in that and you know all the people and you're a decent writer and you keep up with what's going on, consider becoming a contributor at geeksandgamers.com. We could use the help because I'm a busy man. We need more articles. I can't do it all. But Alex has been doing a really good job over there. Shout out to him. All right, and then that's it. 2:47. We got like 10 more minutes before I'm shutting it down. Oh, my ass hurts. Ow.
I mean, shout out to almost a consistent 100 plus.
I know. What the heck? Sweet Baby Inc. saving the channel.
Had some very lively, good discussions. Very good, I think. I think it shows a microcosm of how we're all feeling. How you doing over there?
Sweaty. Oh, gross. I don't know if this is going to pick up on camera. Yeah, that picks up on camera.
Oh, my God. Clip that, man.
Oh. Yeah, wearing a Batman mask and aluminum foil hat, not very good for circulation.
Yeah, I think it depends on how quick you can write.
Oh, is it supposed to be 2 to 3 week? Let's see. Honestly, I should have probably read this a little closer. Must be 1,000 words. Oh, minimum of 3 articles submitted per week. So yes.
You got it? You got the swamp?
Swamp
booty?
I got swamp forehead right now. Hold on, let me put my defenses back on. All right.
It ain't easy being green.
Candidates should have good writing skills and a willingness to accept constructive criticism. WordPress experience is appreciated, but not essential. We will train you. Yeah, it's super freaking easy. So any of you guys who are writers out there who can pump out 3 articles a week, it's time for
3 articles a week.
Kotaku. They're going down.
They have to. They can't last.
The Mary Sue, I don't see either of them making through 2024.
I don't know how any of them.
I know.
Only when we cover them does any. I was like, oh yeah, the Mary, when they attacked Gary, I forgot they fucking existed. It wasn't until they attacked Gary that I remembered.
Zero influence these days. That's why it's different. But the thing is we can't just sit on our butts and let the John De La Roses and stuff like that, all the Bounding into Comics, Phantom Pulses, all that stuff. We can't just let them do it all. We got to help out. Yeah, this Monday. The 11th.
Yeah, I'm going to get it. I'll pre-order it. Sasuke Sisters.
Yeah, I'm honestly really hyped. And their last book I read was so freaking good. No Restraints Play. Oh, that's probably one I'll harass you into getting at some point. Clinton, now a Nerd Wars member, a true nerd runner. I'm a urinalist. Oh, journalist, unrealist.
Urinalist.
I'm assuming urinalist for now. Can't even sit for 3 hours. Oh my god. Yeah. I've been glued to my freaking desk, chained to the desk.
Could you imagine when Darwin and the Beeve are having 10,000 people in the chat and you're every 3 seconds, you're just going to stand over there at the bookshelf. Look, changing costumes, the flood of 20 super chats for us to change costumes. That's the only thing, by the way, of why my super chat threshold is higher for costumes. It's a pain in the ass to get into these things. Like if I was actually trying to save someone's life,
he takes his boxers off too, so you can see the imprint really well.
What? I may or may not have gotten a dancer's belt for that exact reason. I'm not getting clipped in my outline.
Don't we? Oh, we don't have Chang yelling gay. That's a shame. Well, here.
What are you gay?
This is what happens when we see Badger in his Spider-Man costume.
Congratulations.
Do you remember why she salutes?
Isn't that because she thinks she sees what's his name's big dong?
Yeah, so that is actually accurate. That's what we're all saying when you get your Spider-Man
when I was watching, I guarantee you they had this. It's Deadshot, race swapped Deadshot, making fun of Green Lantern for being black and a space cop, calling him a race traitor. That was in Suicide Squad. I feel lesser for having watched it, but yes, it was in there.
Wait, Jeremy Day? I thought yesterday was Jeremy Day.
It wasn't. It wasn't his B Day yesterday, but maybe he's doing the
all month
birthday week, the all month. Yeah.
Urinalist is correct. You need to work. You're not going to be a games journalist with those sort of typos. You need to step your game up, Clifton. Just kidding. You ever read a Bounding into Comics article? It's nothing but typos.
Bro. It's like I might be having a stroke. I'm auto-correcting on the fly in my eyes. I think he meant to say this. But shout out to Spencer, though. I tried to take his point. I knew what he was saying, and I know he got flack for that article. And
that's what I'm saying when I was like, he's actually pretty onto it, guys. Why are you being so defensive? And that's I realized they were being defensive. And that's why I'm like,
that we're having this conversation. I got to set it straight. Yeah, well, and you said it, and we've got it. And it certainly is a two opposing points of view at a certain point. But yeah, there's definitely some nuance that's left that's left out. And if we don't pay attention to that nuance or specificity, it can be used against us. The only argument would be that the people that are using it against us have no fucking clout anymore, like the Eurogamer. But that's the point. Let's just do this one last thing and get rid of them and not even give them the little bit of thing that they could, scrap onto because they have nothing left. It's really sad.
This is like a good example. The far right thinks Sydney Sweeney killed wokeness on SNL because of her boobs.
Yeah, and she ended wokeness. I thought that was just people being like hyperbolic and like a joke. They're like, "Oh, look, tits! It brought everyone together."
The thing that popped off, he said, "Woke's over," and then had her bobs. Woke's over at SNL or Woke's over, something like that. Yeah. That's what I'm saying is you can say, "Oh, they're just making all this stuff up," but like I see it with my own two eyes and stuff like that. People take things too far, or they think, oh, we've already won, it's too easy, or they find one person who's screwing things up, and then everything gets blamed on them, or everything's ESG, or everything's BlackRock. And then, as that Five Guys pointed out, then it gets mushed into a ball of conspiracy and whatnot, and then they get to then connect all of it and say all of it's fake, all of it's wrong. And I'm saying, so we got to be on point. We got to get all of it right. Or else we're just as bad as them and their lack of ethics in journalism when they just believe Zoe Quinn and then kill a guy because of it.
Right. But I'm saying in the natural progression of things, we're at the part of the timeline where the normies just found out what BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard even is.
That's
I
the
remember
problem.
watching Gary
That's
3
the
years
problem.
ago, and Comics Division was just trying and starting to tell people about something called ESG, and that's what was responsible. Like, what the hell is ESG? No, it's not woke, it's ESG. I'm just saying, like, it is a progression of the timeline. So now that they are finding it out, sure, it would behoove us to point out to them that
that's the problem.
And it's not what you think.
They find out about it, and then it explodes as being in I agree. Where it's too easy, and then they blame it on everything. Like I said, I've been down many a rabbit hole. I've seen it's what always happens with new people to this sort of stuff. They get a little too excited about it, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I just want to reel you in a little bit, so that way we are correct and we are right, because this time they keep getting away with this crap. That's why we kept getting the Gamergate expansion packs. Gamergate 2, I want there to be no expansion packs. And if we're going to do that,
Getting away with it.
and if we're going to manage that, we're going to have to get things right. And we can't let the people who are new to all this sort of stuff and who just kind of read some headlines and see some social media stuff, we can't let them derail us by being wrong about crap. Yeah. Because then otherwise we get, and even people who should know better, or, you get the, woke's over, and it's just like, no, it's going to get worse.
And that's why,
because
why
it's
did
systemic.
You say that? Yeah.
Because it's systemic.
Well,
it's
some of the people that have
thing.
been doing this longer, they're fucking tired and they want it to be over because I get it. But that's why it's important for people that have new channels or want to make a channel to make it so we can get some fresh blood. But also, just because you're fresh and ready to go doesn't mean you can just hammer away like you're saying. You have to understand, focus on who's doing what and why.
I did this
a multiple front thing.
with the information we had. I did this, and then it ended up being, the information we had was a bit wrong. We were misled. So now I'm like, okay, readjust. Here's what's actually going on.
That's the SBI I can get behind. Sydney's booby influence.
Good how Matt gets it.
Bro, everything woke goes to shit. He was right. Name one successful woke thing. I'll wait. I don't think you can. Or at the very least, it could be explained away that it's just traditional. People could call Dune 2 woke all you want. It's not. It's not.
Well, it's like with the new Avatar Way of Water is like, Gary's like, this is the wokest thing ever. And then Jeremy's like, I liked it. There's no wokeness. I like
and
the
Chris
family
Gore
stuff.
loved it. He was like, I just like seeing a good father, and it was a traditional family message. And is it essentially an Indians, white people wailing? Yeah, there was some wailing messages, but that to me is just as laughable as the Aquaman 2 green fucking volcano. It's so over the top that it's laughable.
So here's my stance then, is so I want to look past that and go to James Cameron, who's Mr. Depopulation guy, who says he wishes he could Thanos snap half of humanity away. But who would pick the half and stuff like that. But other than that, James Cameron wants to Thanos snap half the population. And all the people who were into that sort of stuff are the ones behind the UN. A bunch of crazy actual super villains. And that is who we need to focus on the most.
Right.
Because all this is just a symptom.
Right. And also, this is where we get accused of thinking that all women are woke women bosses. Jet, I hear what you're saying. And if you're talking about the Zendaya character, she didn't make any male look like shit so she could look strong. Everything she did was explained. All her training was all explained by being a Fremen and a resistance fighter. She didn't do anything that would make her she was a normal, strong woman character. He always shows up. Sorry, Graf was.
I know.
I've seen him in other sites too, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
He was on Stargrift. I saw him pop up.
He's everywhere. I love it. Doing the Lord's work. You're the best, dude.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I'm the one that's like, she's a frowny girl, but I liked her in that role. But yeah, if you didn't, I can't fault you on it.
Honestly, I was fine with her character. It just wasn't really interesting. Nothing. Like Stilgar, I'm like, I want to know everything about Stilgar. Just put him in the front of everything. She never gave me
Bardem was like the best part about the movie. Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is Zendaya didn't take anything away from me, as opposed to other movies I've seen her where it was like, I don't like her as MJ.
Worst part of the film. What would you say are worse things than Zendaya?
I don't think it was. Yeah, there wasn't enough of it.
The younger Harkonnen guy. Some people complain about him.
I like Fade Routha. I like him as Fade Routha. I can't even think of his name. He was in Elvis. He's in a bunch of shit. He's really good. I thought he was compared to, he's the foil for Timothy Chalamet. All right, you don't need to be huge and intimidating, but I thought he was pretty decent for what he did. The voice, he said he was trying to do to be similar to his uncle, the Baron. And I loved his little character moments. I love the respect he showed to Paul. I don't want to spoil, but it's like there was a lot of moments like, oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have any bad moments. I really liked that movie.
Honestly, I might have liked Zendaya more than the mom.
Oh, see, and I liked her as Lady Jessica, Rebecca Ferguson. I don't know what to say, man. Yeah, call me soy boy.
No,
loved it.
I gave it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, no,
I
I'm
gave it
happy
a 9
with
out
it.
of 10. So I don't know. I've seen it twice in theaters. Probably go see it a third time.
Yeah, if we're talking about like strong women and whatnot, I think I might have liked Zendaya a bit more.
I guess what I'm saying is that is as good as I think you're gonna get of showing a strong, like that is what I meant when the modern woke wishes they could do all that. It's filled with strong women in DEI, but it was done to me not offensively.
It doesn't take you out of it. It
Right.
doesn't feel forced,
Right.
and that is always the big problem.
We're getting
that was
the third
as his,
part.
that was as his whole rant. His whole rant was how he was into this game, and then pronouns that just take him out of the game.
Well, and it's also Az didn't do that rant until like an hour in, and he had just gone to the quest line where it's revealed, because I did it too, and I started laughing when I realized what he's about, where a clone of a man is a woman, and he's called it 20 seconds into the conversation. He goes, "What, you're a man?" And then she said it, and that's what led to the rant and the pronouns. And
Yeah, he just like sits back and just like
yes. It was
does, like,
very
the-
contextual. Yeah.
the ass silence for a little while, and then he starts going, and he's like, "No, I got to take these headphones off," and then
Yeah. So, and like I said, that rant has aged like fine wine. So,
oh yeah, perfecto. And then it's Sweet Baby had something to do with that, right? Through Bethesda, through Xbox, but it's like, did Sweet Baby? Are they the ones that made that happen?
Yeah,
maybe.
But again,
also,
they are, in that regard, they're certainly a symptom
Maybe
and
not.
a visible symptom of all the larger problems. There's something to point at and go, okay, that's what we're talking about. If nothing else, there's something to point at and be like, that's what we mean. Because a lot of times it's ephemeral. They hear about the inclusion standards and the ideology, but it's hard to prove it. And we could be like, well, that's a visible thing we can point at, even if they're just the cherry on top. It's a very bright red cherry.
like in Suicide Squad, they had above a bunch of the doorways, they had the crazy like pride flag. Like they'd have a rainbow, and then on the corner was a pride flag. And it was the one with the triangle and the circle inside of the triangle, like the super progressive pride flag. Now, did they do that? They claim that they didn't do the flags in Spider-Man 2 and whatnot. So it's like, that's the sort of thing they would do.
Right.
If they had the chance, but I don't even know if they had the chance. I think Rocksteady just had already probably done that stuff.
I believe they have. Yeah, no.
Might also be Sweet Baby. Now you're sounding like me. Now we're switching sides on this argument.
No, I personally was blaming them for the shit you just showed me the game director saying they didn't do. I was blaming them 100% for Saga. Everything else, no, that's what I'm saying. I was well aware they came in after a game was already woke and ESG'd or the
God of War.
To.
They say they didn't do the God of War thing too, or the Spider-Man or the Alan Wake 2. And that's the three things that most get called out for. So I'm saying they're saying they didn't have anything to do with it. And
then it's like, well, what the fuck did you do? And why did you list those games? Like,
because they're clients.
So they didn't make the things
They
black.
do many things. Sweet Baby Inc. does a bunch of things. So just because they get hired doesn't mean that they're doing all like the DEI crap. But even if they aren't doing the DEI crap, they're a bunch of woke crazy. So anything they do has that touch of SJW to it.
Yeah. It's just an odd thing that anyone would hire them for anything other than
because
DEI.
They're already woke as fuck.
Right.
And they already DEI'd it up, and they have them come in for authenticity and to do a sensitivity reading. And to do that, you come in at the end. So yes, I think we've yelled at each other enough for the day. Everybody,
I think we made everything clear.
8 o'clock. What's it in? 4 hours from now, Saturday Night Hypnosis is going to be starting. Hypnotic has Kabrutus on, the guy who started the Steam curation page, who does seem to get it quite well with all the Sweet Baby stuff and woken video games. I'm happy to see. I was a little concerned, but he seems to be pretty on the ball with this stuff. But he still kind of goes towards the blame Sweet Baby Inc. for everything side of things. And I'm like, with the weird ghost side, I'm like, this is just like pervasive with all these NGO nonprofit types. But then I've also got like the CD Projekt Red ESG stuff like that. And then you just got all the, Microsoft DEI and whatnot. So, Yeah, Ackman definitely sits down when he pees. A lot of Europeans do as well. Any Europeans in chat sit when they pee? As a urinalist, I would like to know.
to be on my phone.
So, yes, tonight, Cabrutus. You want to hear it from the horse's mouth, the Cabrutus of Color's mouth as well. They've been attacking a Brazilian of color.
Racism.
Trying to cancel him. Let's go through some of these homies. Laud started it off with a YouTube member. Joker's disciple got a little jealous and had to slip in there with a $5. Then Laud's like, I'm going to gift another one. We got a $1.99 from Breezy. Joker's like, I ain't having it. I'm getting back up in here. Hakami hooking up with 25. I don't even know once. I might be
Saudi Arabia.
I might be a billionaire now and don't even know. Alex Darby's like, hold my beer. Here's 5 memberships. Then Hayden said, hold my giant
50.
My giant beer like this. Hooked it up with 50. Joker's disciple comes in wearing a hat with 2 beer cans going into his mouth, and he's got a camelback filled with wine going into his mouth at the same time, and drops 69.69. Alex Darby got real jealous, and he had to drop another 10. You're the best. And then we get Anders up in here dropping a 20 and moonwalking out the saloon double doors. And Hayden said, not on my watch. We get another 10 gifties in here. And Joker, he's like, I'm going to finish this off. And Graf said, Law JK, no, I'm finishing it off with the hashtag cancel Disney Plus. Dun, 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 dun. And that was our 3-hour-long, 2-hour stream.
Well, I guess we won't see you again until next Saturday. It's a long, cold week.
Out 1. I was going to try to get the documentary out by Friday. I think I'm going to get the first half of the documentary out by Friday. And I have to manage to get an article out, too, because I'm apparently a games journalist now. So what I'm doing after this, after I eat some food, is I'm knocking out the video I recorded yesterday. So that'll probably be up this evening. It's like 30 minutes, so it'll probably take a little while to get uploaded and edit. So probably like 7 or 8 o'clock here. Yeah, I'll try to get it out before Saturday Night Hypnosis.
You can do a premiere?
It's long enough. I probably will do a premiere.
All right, everyone. I'll see you in the premiere chat. We'll talk shit while watching it. It'll be fun.
All right. I haven't streamed. I forget how to do this. Outro time.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know. Hello.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Good, then get the hell out of my life. Who needs you? Beat it. Leave me alone.
I needed to get rid of the human garbage, otherwise known as my best friends.
Come on.
Bonnie, how do you keep getting back in?
Well, bye.
I'm sorry, babe. I didn't mean that either.
I forget every time about that last one I snuck in there. Smiling Wave boys. Thank you for all the support and for paying all my bills and keeping me from living on the street because of my comic book addiction. You guys are the best.